Hello and welcome to ATARC's annual GITEC presentations and awards ceremony. We are truly honored to have had so many phenomenal projects and teams nominated this year. We're going to be hearing from numerous teams today on their innovative projects and teams across 7 different categories, which includes AI and data analytics, workforce innovation, cybersecurity, IT modernization, DevOps, digital experience, and DEIA, diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. But before we go into all of that, I just want to introduce our GITEC chair and IT engineer at NASA, John Sprague. So John, I'm going to have you come on and share some stuff with our audience.
Thank you. Thank you, Kirsten. I appreciate it very much. I wanted to speak a bit about the history of GITEC. But first, I wanted to thank Tom Suter and the fabulous crew that he puts together over all the years and to put on events like this. And it used to be like one a month or one a quarter. Now it seems like there's several a month. So, congratulations and good job on that, keeping everything going and doing so much. Welcome everyone to the annual GITEC 2023 Emerging Technology Awards ceremony. So what is GITEC? And I know a lot of you have already heard this before, but for some of the newer folks, it was the Government IT or Information Technology Executive Council, GITEC. It was established in response to, believe it or not, a June 28, 1966 White House memorandum. And that was to provide a forum for which senior government leaders and industry execs could get together, collaborate in an open forum about IT and all the ideas and challenges and successes folks were having out there. In March of 2010, though, GITEC hosted its first GITEC Summit. However, some of you remember this as the IPIC, the Information Processing Interagency Conference. That's what it was called back then. That was some 30 years ago in Orlando, Florida. Folks used to lovingly call it the federal spring break, believe it or not. Kind of funny. The Advanced Technology Academic Research Center, ATARC, and GITEC announced their merger May 31st, 2018. And that brought together 2 nonprofits with similar goals that provide professional development, collaborative forums for the federal government, academia, and industry, all put together. They helped identify and discuss and reserve all kinds of different emerging technology challenges that we still have today, of course. And that does bring us to today. I want to give a big thanks to the folks that helped by going through the amazing projects and making those extremely hard decisions on which projects deserve a little more recognition today. And it was very close on many categories. You wouldn't believe how close. I want to thank Sterling White. And Sterling, if you're on, pop on for a second. Love to see your face. He's from contracting officer at the GSA, Government Services Administration, and Gerald Caron, the CIO of the ITA, or International Trade Administration at the Department of Commerce. If you're here, come on camera too. And Ian Anderson, lead DevSecOps engineer at the Naval Surface Warfare Center. They did a phenomenal job of judging the great packages that were submitted. And I want to also thank again Tom Suter and the crew. You have a great lineup of orgs to show us what they're all working on. And you're going to see amazing projects, like I said. And I'm honored to be here and can't wait to hear all about it. Back to you, Kirsten.
Thank you so much, John. And without further ado, we can go ahead and begin our first presentation. So in the AI and data category, we have ACBOT, Advancing AI in DoD Contracting. ACBOT, go ahead and take it away. The floor is all yours.
All right. Excuse me. Thank you very much. My name is Bonnie Evangelista. I work for the Chief Digital and Artificial Intelligence Office. I've been a contracting practitioner for my entire career, an 1102 contract specialist. More recently, though, I've taken on some larger roles around the policy realm and maybe some even program management, where I've been managing an initiative called TradeWinds, where ACBOT was kind of born, and the genesis of ACBOT started from there. So what I really want to impart on you today is Imagine a public procurement process transformed from slow, complex, and error-prone to efficient, transparent, and risk mitigated. That's the future I stand before you to present with ACBOT, a future driven by our AI-powered contract writing capability. The problem that we have in contracting, many of you might have experienced this, felt this deeply, like even I have as a practitioner on the government side. Today, public procurement is plagued by inefficiencies. Manual drafting is time consuming and prone to errors, inconsistent language, and inability to increase velocity within our teams leads to disputes, misinterpretation, and of course, long delays. This only hinders project delivery, but also erodes public trust fundamentally. And we see this all over the media, especially in the Department of Defense right now. There is tons of criticisms about this right now in terms of the speediness or the readiness of our public procurement workforce, as well as the processes. So our solution has been, this has been quite a journey. We harness the power of AI and data analytics to develop a revolutionary tool that automates and accelerates contract drafting. So we're taking advantage, or we have taken advantage of the less restrictive and more flexible authorities in public procurement. So not the federal acquisition regulation, but authorities such as other transaction authorities to experiment and demonstrate the art of the possible in transforming public procurement for the better. So the features of the tool are AI-assisted problem statement generation. We are very focused in CDAO on focusing on problems, not requirements. So we have the tool helps us do that. And we're incorporating AI into business models, and we're leveraging large language models, commercial and open source, to do this. So drilling down just a layer deeper on this. So we're leveraging custom fine-tuned LLMs tailored for acquisition workflows. We're using the Azure Open API, which means we have some protections on the inputs and outputs into the LLMs, the commercial open source LLMs. And we've incorporated other relevant associated technology into the workflow, which I'm going to demonstrate for you in just a second. So we have robotic process automation for automated workflows, multi-tenancy for collaboration, and retrieval augmented generation for continuous improvement of the model generation system outputs. So with that, I'm going to do a quick screen share and show you what this is all about. It'll take about 2 minutes. If I can get a verbal confirmation, everyone can see my screen, maybe.
Looks good. Yep, it looks good.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So we're going to run through the tool. What you're seeing here is our externally facing Tradewinds platform. This is where we communicate with outside stakeholders or government representatives and stakeholders, as well as provide our tools and services. So in order to use the tool that I was just describing, you enter ACBOT. So we're going to start generating a problem statement. So as you can see here, we're putting in some background information that's going to carry over to final publishing. And the first screen you're going to see is a chatbot interface. So as you can see, they just simply copied and pasted some text into the chatbot. And in the middle, you see the the content generation happening in order to start to describe a concise problem statement. On the left-hand side, you see all the steps that we have to go through in order to get to that final problem statement. But currently the goal of this screen or this step is to get a very, very concise statement. As you can see, the tool has generated about 3 paragraphs of text from that concise statement using the technologies I described before. You can continue to interface in the middle there and edit the text. So we're using human reinforcement in every single step to validate the information. Ideally, a practitioner like myself is using this tool in real time with every stakeholder, your whole integrated product team, anyone who has equities at the table. So now we're in the last step where we've generated about 4 or 5 paragraphs of text from the 3 paragraphs of text that was previously generated. The demo is showing you can continue to edit. There is also a feature on here where you see the enhanced section button. So the AI will actually just try to make the language better, and you get to choose which language you like. Now what's happening here, I'm going to pause real quick. you notice that we were done generating the problem statement and it said generate my call to industry. So this is now using RPA, robotic process automation, to overlay some standard text from a template to generate what we would consider a solicitation, or we call it a call to industry when we're doing other transaction authority type announcements. Once you mark your project complete and you're ready to publish, you have one final chance to review, as you can see here. And assuming everybody concurs with the language, it's ready to go, you hit that publish button and it shows up right here on our public facing website. So that entire process that I showed you, oh, sorry, that tool is also showing you how industry responds to the tool. So you can also submit once we have published a call to industry on the website. So let me figure out how to stop sharing. So that entire process that I just showed you, you could take anywhere from weeks to months. And I have repeatedly done it in 30 minutes because of this tool. Again, having the right people on the same call and doing real-time collaboration, we're able to take a process that would take anywhere from weeks to months to down to 30 minutes, no kidding, where we have published a solicitation. We're hoping the tool, we want to finish the workflow to go all the way through contract award, but simply the results are I go faster. And when I say I mean, you know, our contracting workforce goes faster, the acquisition professionals we work with go faster. We have increased team velocity, so we can publish super quick. We can generate text and documentation very quickly. So beyond procurement, the technology potential extends far beyond contracts. Like this can revolutionize data-driven policymaking, optimize resource allocation, and reduce all kinds of workloads. So we're actively exploring partnerships with other DoD services to unlock these potentials. As an example, Air Force is currently investing in this tech to do statement of work generation for their FAR Part 16 workflows, which is awesome and exciting. So the future is very bright. This type of award isn't just for recognition to me. This is a catalyst. This is going to fuel our efforts to refine this type of technology and expand its scope and make it smarter, faster, and more efficient public procurement a reality. That's it. Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much, Bonnie. That was awesome. Next up in the IT modernization category, we have HEITS, Integrated Project Team from GSA. So folks, go ahead and take it away.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to present. My name is Kenny Lawhorn. What we're going to present this morning is the Homeland Enterprise Information Technology Secure Services and Support Project. This is for the Department of Homeland Security. We at GSA FedSim, we have our IPT, and we are responsible for doing these large acquisitions. This was approximately $1 billion acquisition that was recently awarded, and we did it in about, I'm going to say, 9 months. Why don't we jump to the next slide and go to the agenda. On the agenda, here's the agenda. The last bullet points in the agenda, appendix last 5 years of the journey. That's really, I won't go through all that, but that's for the evaluators to look at. That's our journey that we just finished going through from 2018 to 2023. And the IPT is now working on the next stage, I would say, of evolving our technology and modernizing our infrastructure. So with that said, I'll go to the next slide, please, and explain what this is all about. DHS has responsibility for managing secure classified networks for the federal government. And this is work that goes across state, local, and tribal partners. And it's all networks. It's very large. And we're responsible for, the secure, reliable, and I would say capable classified information sharing infrastructure that is interoperable across all of DHS and its stakeholders in classified environments. Next slide, please. The classified environments that we're talking about here, these are, you can imagine, very important to the country. We deal with on the civilian side, but this is civilian side that can then also connect to the kind of .mil side if we need to. And this is the Homeland Secure Data Network, which is also known as the HSDN network in our classified network, CLAN. And we support systems and interfaces, cross-domain guards connecting DHS unclassified networks, specifically sensitive but unclassified networks with HSDN and the CLAN networks. HSDN is a secret level civilian classified network with connectivity to DISA, and it's provisioned at the Secret Internet Protocol SIPRNet. And the CLAN, the next part of our network, provides similar services for top secret sensitive compartmentalized information. This really supports, and it connects to DIA's provision, JWICs. And really this supports a lot of the intelligence and analysis organizations within DHS working with other partners. Next slide, please. Give you some scope here. This gets into the contracting side and how large this is. For those of you familiar with contracting, this is considered a large multi-tenant contracting arrangement. And when I say multi-tenant, that means we take in sources of funding from a number of government agencies to support their needs. So we're kind of the clearinghouse for supporting all their network needs when it comes to HSDN and CLAN and being able to communicate across all these classified networks. A lot of our partners, across the government, we got a large end user base in our business. And then we have, just like every other IT program, we have business customers who have unique requirements to all their projects. On the end user side, within HSDN, we have about 16,000 end users that we support. We have 5,000 for CLAN on the INA side of it. Average business requirements, we prioritize these on an annual basis, and we kind of work on them throughout the year. But we have a very rigorous process for bringing in business requirements, getting ROMs, and getting them teed up. On average, we deliver about 150 of those unique business requirements a year. They can scale anywhere from, an 8-week project to a 6 to 8 month, maybe 9-month type of project. We support over 40 plus government agencies. This includes DHS also, and 22 agencies total. Next slide, please. Overall, the mission use cases, the reason I want to point some of this out is really HSDN was born out of the 9/11 attacks when they realized that we needed a means for communicating between civilian and coordinate response with the military agencies through secure channels. During the 9/11 incident, FAA and NORAD were unable to properly coordinate and had to use unclassified teleconference capabilities to manage threat vectors. Some of the mission cases here I laid out, you can see were recent. Memorial Day 2020, we had during the pandemic increased chat around domestic threats, around events going on around the holidays. We're there to support, so we got laptops out to the intel and analysts within a 6-hour period. This meant actually getting them, provisioning them, and getting them out to our partners. Probably some that won't drain all here, but the Super Bowl 2023, we do threat monitoring for all major events. And in Phoenix, in that Super Bowl, we had a collapsed roof due to some issues with our space. We had to provision and get a whole new space up and running and accredit it in record time. This took us about 4 months, and we're able to support that. So I think the big thing is just showing how nimble the team is and how we can respond with our partners. And then the biggest one that a lot of people are probably aware of is our support for CBP Border Patrol. There's a lot of drug smuggling, human trafficking going on at the southwest border. With all that going on, we got requirements and requests to stand up additional SCIFs closer to the border. This eliminated a lag in intelligence reporting, which used to take up to 2 to 3 hours for the agents to have to drive to a secure location to give the intelligence. Next slide, please. Overall, just looking at what's ahead for us, this kind of use cases, not use cases, but the future investments. Really, we're really kind of facing new challenges to the traditional model. So we're looking to modernize and continue innovating. We have, increased requirements for cloud adoption, new requirements for zero trust, and need for mobility and edge computing. From here, you can see we've got work that we're doing with quantum resilient cryptology, I'm getting hung up on that. but it's really tied to quantum computing and being able to, take things out of NSA, their recommendations, and really being able to get ready for the next evolution of computer attacks that could happen on our network. We've got commercial solutions for classified computing, which just really is starting to support, mobile capabilities and a highly classified environment, so that we're evolving that. As we all know, our hard points around, hardwired phones and stuff are kind of a way of the past. But in Intel environment, we're really working to kind of get off of some of that. So we're moving to soft voice and video, which will, reduce costs. And then zero trust architectures, we're focused on that. And then overall cloud computing, we're continuing to evolve to that. We're working through our journey right now, but right now we got components that are getting there, but we still have a ways to go on that.
All right, thank you so much, Kenny.
Yep.
Next up, we have the cybersecurity category. And in this category is the Department of Energy Cyber PMO. So go ahead and take it away.
Thank you. I'll try to make this 5 minutes. I know we got time limitations here. So just to put some context behind this, guys, I am the Senior Advisor for Policy for the Chief Information Officer. And for the past year, one of my other duties as assigned was to direct the Cyber Program Management Office. And the main thing here is that the Department of Energy is very federated, very diverse. I mean, our mission expands anything from clean energy to nuclear security and safety, environmental management, protecting critical infrastructure, and open science research. So for us to get kind of like all 90 something components on the same page and understand requirements and share some common solutions is a huge lift. And this small team did amazing things. And there is no I in team. So I really want to give a shout out to Bradley Lentz, Stephanie Berghart, Tara Mills, Michael Galmi, and Brian Cecilini. In addition, some part-time technical support that we had, led by Mark Yutson for cyber architecture and Garland Garris on quantum. Next slide. Not going to spend a lot of time on here because I want to spend the majority of the time talking about all the great accomplishments this team has done. But this team was really established as a DOE-wide response to the executive order. I'd like to point out this is not a compliance organization, but rather a coordination mechanism. And a key part in here is that cyber expertise shown in the middle. This allows us to work across project management, stakeholder engagement, and communication activities, providing customized support with cyber expertise underlying each of those pillars. And let's go to the next slide and talk about all the great things that this office has done for the DOE. So first of all, we've been managing a $100 million cyber modernization portfolio with specific focus on improvements in multi-factor authentication, encryption, logging, secure cloud adoption, and post-quantum cryptography. We plan to add about $40 million to that in FY24. And because of that, we've ratcheted up to add specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound projects with a special weight on enterprise-wide relevance and impact. We want to focus on those highest impact activities across the department. We also track quarterly progress with our ZTA pillar leads across the enterprise to make sure that those projects are supporting the entire enterprise. For example, how we properly tag our terabytes and terabytes and terabytes of sensitive data. We're also starting our cybersecurity implementation planning. Our Deputy Secretary has noted that implementation of cybersecurity is the responsibility of all of us. And so we're trying to develop those smart actions that everyone can be involved in that move the department forward in achieving our goals and objectives. On the governance and strategy side, we stood up an encryption and PQC working group across the enterprise on how we work together to improve our encryption for data at rest and in transit, and also prepare for that PQC transition. We also formally chartered our ZTA and cloud adoption working group. We did draft an enterprise-wide cybersecurity strategy that's in with our Deputy Secretary right now for signature. This was a huge effort to obtain such diverse buy-in across the department, but we did it. We did it in short order, and it was approved through our formal governance structures. We also developed a PQC strategy and roadmap through inventory baseline, market research, vendor demos, and capabilities for pilot program analysis and alternatives. Finally, we have a knowledge exchange. We want to share those success stories, challenges, across the enterprise, so we're not reinventing wheels. We've stood up a ZTA certification program for the enterprise. We have provided feedback on ZTA implementation plans and maturity assessments covering 67 departmental elements and sites, and we'll be updating those based on the maturity model 2.0 that was recently put out. And finally, we have a digital handbook serving as a one-stop shop for anybody in the enterprise. This is actually the most viewed site on what was formerly OMB Max and now connect.gov. Outside of the landing page, and the number of unique users continue to grow every month. So it's a huge resource for the entire department. So again, just want to highlight some of the things that this team has done, and really appreciate all their work. Tremendous success this year, and thank you very much.
Thanks, Jody. Great work, team. Now in the cybersecurity category, we have content management section team from U.S. Coast Guard.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank ATARC and GITEC for nomination of the content management team and the opportunity to present. My name is Kevin Cooper. I am the content management section chief for C5I Service Center at the U.S. Coast Guard. I lead a small but mighty team that comprises of civilians and military members. Those members are Dennis Brakebill, Alex No, Chief Warrant Officer Anthony Bilderback, Chief Warrant Officer Mitch Frick, and Chief Warrant Officer Ben Carroll. We have been able to accomplish, what we've been able to accomplish is a team effort, and I believe is unique to the DoD community. Next slide, please. So what do we do? So the U.S. Coast Guard is under the Department of Homeland Security, and we abide by the DoD rules, STIGs, and regulations and mandates that we are mandated to follow. We are responsible for deploying patches, applications, application updates, operating system development, and deployments. We leverage many tools to accomplish this mission, and which I'll explain over the next couple of slides. Next slide, please. So Windows 11, we got to have a good foundation. So from Windows 11, if you have a good foundation, a good operating system, your patches, your applications, and your updates are all going to function the way that they should. So we develop and engineer our Windows 11 image. We craft these images to follow DoD mandates and STIGs. And we actually had some challenges in the past where the image was actually rather large. We were actually able to shrink it by 70%, which was a great accomplishment on our team, which makes it smaller and nimble and being able to reach a lot of those areas that are hard to reach out across the globe. Next slide, please. So Adaptiva One Site, this rides on top of Mecum. Its purpose is to help deliver. It's a peer-to-peer technology. It's a one-to-one. It's not like Microsoft peer technology where it's kind of one-to-many. This is a one-to-one, which it's the only technology that's out there that actually replaces the distribution point. We've been able to shrink our footprint from 145 servers down to 7, which is a 2,000% shrinkage of our footprint. And so how this works is, we have icebreakers that have long missions and go underway for months at a time. So when trying to get those updates to that location can be rather difficult. So think about an office that has 100 workstations that's in there. What Adaptiva does is it sends the updates to 2 or 3 workstations that are actually at a particular office, and then it's responsible for pulling those updates down and then pushing it out to those 100 workstations that are in that particular office. So you're not having 100 of those workstations pulling those updates and making a lot of noise across the network. You're only using 2 or 3. So it's a very targeted way of updating our workstations, which has been very effective for us. Next slide, please. Adaptiva Endpoint. This is a configuration tool that rides, it's a feature of Adaptiva, and it is a tool that it kind of helps ensure that security updates and configurations are applied out to the network. So by doing this, you can do repetitive actions that kind of eliminates a lot of necessary people having to go to the desktop and fixing issues. This also cuts down on your ticketing system overburden and really does these automations in the background without interrupting the user. Next slide, please. Cloud Management Gateway. This is another tool that we're expanding beyond MECM. This is for us to be able to reach off-network assets that are not connected to our VPN or DoD. So these are computers that are on a network that we're able to reach and provide those updates to workstations that are not connected. So a use case here would be if you've got an admiral that is going to a trade show and it's not connected. All they have to do is have an outside connection to their local Wi-Fi at that trade show, and through a certificate program, we're actually able to find that workstation and update it. And that's everything from normal patches to 0 days. So we've been really very effective there. So in conclusion, we've been able to accomplish a lot. Again, Windows 10, we've been able to shrink the image by 70%. We've been able to shrink our footprint by a considerable amount in the configuration tools of endpoint health and cloud management gateway. So we're very proud of what our team has been able to accomplish. And thank you for your time, and have a good day.
Thank you, Kevin. Congrats to you and your team.
Thank
Now,
you.
in the AI category, we have Enterprise Logging Warehouse from Veteran Affairs. Over to you, Veteran Affairs. Dr. Maschette, are you online? We seem to have some issues with her audio. Is there anybody else from the team online?
Can you hear me? Good morning.
Yes, we got you. Go ahead.
I'm so sorry. I apologize for that.
Okay.
Good morning, all. I'm Dr. DiMachetti, and I work with the Department of Veterans Affairs in the Office of Information and Technology. Our team is honored to be selected and nominated for the GITEC Award under Advancing Artificial Intelligence and Data Analytics category. Our team leads, as shown on the slide, have many areas to support for the Enterprise Logging Warehouse, and our services and success could not have been accomplished without them. Next slide, please. I'd like to start this presentation with a brief summary of the Enterprise Logging Warehouse. The Department of Veterans Affairs has used Splunk as their logging solution for 10 plus years. The VA is modernizing and centralizing their logging solution to meet security compliance and federal regulations such as FISMA and OMB 2131. Our efforts are working towards contract and Splunk instant consolidations, migration from on-premise to VA Enterprise Cloud, and the utilization of two premier Splunk applications, Enterprise Security, ES, and IT Service Intelligence, ITSI. ES and ITSI are how the VA implemented and the benefits of AI and data analytics. This is done with the use of the Splunk's predictive capabilities. Enterprise monitoring is a critical element in keeping services and applications available for and in support of our veterans. The new Enterprise Command Center is the centerpiece of a 24/7 by 365 IT monitoring program. The Enterprise Command Center data walls receives information from ELW platform and ITSI, which displays subsequent events and alerts that are monitored by the event management team. The Enterprise Command Center uses ITSI machine learning called predictive analytics, powered by the Machine Learning Toolkit, MLTK, for monitoring, which uses near real-time events and metrics to both respond to incidents and proactively anticipate degradation or outages on VA services and or systems. Currently, ELW processes on a daily basis an impressive 40 plus terabytes of data coming from numerous data sources, spanning high-value assets, bedrock application systems, and network devices from both on-premise and multi-cloud environments within the VA. The use of Splunk and its premium applications, ES and ITSI, allow the VA to conduct sophisticated data analytics for advanced security analysis and service monitoring. Both ES and ITSI use numerous features to monitor and correlate IT services and security events. The machine learning within Splunk significantly contributes to both applications by enabling predictive analytics to forecast security threats and incidents for the VA, which provides the capability of alerting for incident investigations. The next two slides will provide more details about each premier application and how it's benefited the VA. Next slide, please. As mentioned previously, ECC uses ITSI for application and performance monitoring, of VA services and application. Here are two occurrences where predictive analytics benefited the VA. One averted end user impact. It detected capacity constraints for the telehealth services. It predicted when conference nodes would reach capacity based on the recent usage and sent an alert to ECC. Key performance indicators and metrics were set for application capacity, and MLTK used the predictive model with a 30-day baseline and historical data to foresee a possible incident. Another one was to leverage the MTKL in business making decisions for software licensing. Multiple tools had their licenses fed into Splunk, and predictive models were developed to predict additional licenses were required. This prevented unnecessary downtime for businesses while allowing licenses to procure prior to being exhausted. This slide also shows some high-level statistics for ITSI. Next slide, please. And my last slide covers ES in the VA. ES is used advanced analytics with machine learning to identify security pattern anomalies and deviations from VA designed layer security models. Splunk's predictive analytics enables the identification of security risks and forecasts for security threats. A key example of how the advanced analytics is used by the SIM team is currently there are over 100 million log events being ingested weekly, which are distilled down into a meaningful set of correlated data used by multiple security tools. This provides a cost avoidance in dollars and man hours. The other example is the data analytics is used on targeted intelligence driven automated use cases and notable event alerts that are used in correlations across numerous security platforms and act as a alerting multiplier to cybersecurity analysts. And at the bottom, you can see we have some high-level statistics for this. But that concludes my presentation.
Thank you so much, Dr. Machete, and congrats to you and your team. Up next, in the IT modernization category, we have the OPM Technology Showcase.
All right, welcome. My name is Jeff Rhodes, and I'm OPM's Digital Enterprise Transformation Expert, as well as Microsoft 365 Product Owner. And the challenge that we want to address is the rapid pace of technological change, as well as the bombardment of information for our users. How can we let them know what important technologies are coming, as well as how to take advantage of the ones that we already have? Part of the answer is an agency-wide technology showcase every 6 months. We put them on as Teams live events. Much of the agency attends live, while the rest have access to the recorded version. We start with some music and then launch into a roadmap of key initiatives, demos of important technologies, user experiences, and much more. Created and hosted by our CIO, Guy Cavallo, our goal is to bring OPM members along on the technology journey, explaining not just the what, but the why and the how. The event embodies our mission statement of, quote, leading with the innovative digital and data-driven solutions that empower OPM to guide employees through their federal careers. Nearly 550 attendees joined the most recent session, and attendees scored the session 4.7 out of 5, with comments like, thank you, I wish it were more than an hour. One of my favorite parts of the showcase are the user testimonials. Here are 2 members of our Champions Network who recorded short videos on the technologies they like best and how those technologies have positively impacted their productivity and ability to collaborate. Not only does this provide motivation to other users, but our program offices love seeing their employees featured in the events. The roadmap is one of the most closely watched sections as it tells our users what changes and features are coming soon. One that I was quite involved in was our home drive to OneDrive migration, shown as the second circle on this slide. Moving off these on-premise file servers is a key part of our sprint to the cloud. We introduced the project a year ago in the showcase and then gave a status update last summer. In next month's version, we'll be able to report back that the entire agency is operational and trained. We devote part of each showcase on new technologies that can help us serve our customers better. Here I am demonstrating using low-code tools to send forms to annuitants, allow them to electronically sign, store the form back in our cloud, and finally visualize the status and time elapsed. I quickly heard from offices around the agency to learn how they could apply this technology. Another key aspect of each showcase is highlighting how technology can help us in our daily tasks. We often ask users in program offices outside OCIO to introduce and demonstrate these tools, and most importantly, how they boosted their productivity. This leads to a noticeable increase in usage, as well as attendance at associated office hours and training events. So what do our customers think? We send out a survey after each event and have close to a 5-star rating. You can see some of the positive comments to the right. Most important is that our customers feel like OCIO is partnering with them rather than throwing technologies and projects over the wall and hoping for the best. Another indication of success is our steady improvement in our IT performance ratings from GSA across the board. We are happy to report that in the most recent Federal Employee Viewpoint survey, 77% of our employees agree that we look for new ways to improve how they do their work. And we'd like to get that number even higher. Please feel free to reach out to me if we can share any of our approaches or to collaborate on digital transformation. Thank you for your time today.
Thank you, Jeffrey and team. Next up in the AI and data category, we have MLS and Data Federation using blockchain project from Defense Innovation Unit. Okay, there's not going to be any slides on this one. So from whoever from the team is ready to present, go ahead.
Yes, this is Jonathan Rogers. I'm from DIU. Hang on one moment, just trying to get it to, oh, there we go. Oh, no. I have some slides here for whatever reason I'm hopping up. So just one more thing, see if I can't get them to go. Oh.
John, maybe while you're popping that up, I can, I'm Colin Gounder from VIA, and maybe it can provide the quick context, which was for the Department of Defense, there was an initiative where network security has one is around passwords and protocols to prevent people from getting on the network. How do you make sure that once someone is on the network, maybe they are already the network is compromised, and so how do you provide data security at the data level instead of just the network level? And so that was the origin of this, and now I'll pass back to John.
Yeah, thank you, Colin. Yeah, apologize for that. There's some hiccups there with technology. What's new? Good morning. Yeah, first and foremost, thank you to the Advanced Technology Academic Research Center for giving me the opportunity to speak to the great work being done by ViaScience in support of Navy PEO Digital and NAVIC Lance. I'm a project manager at the Defense Innovation Unit, here to provide an overview of an ongoing project to provide multi-level security and data federation using blockchain. Very briefly, I'll provide an elevator pitch for DIU. Defense Innovation Unit aims to leverage commercial technology to solve pressing national security problems. We hope to simplify the process of working with the government from the private sector perspective, as well as rapidly integrate new and cutting-edge technology into the DoD ecosystem. To accomplish this, DIU runs commercial solutions openings under the Other Transaction Authority to competitively select companies to address DoD problems. DIU targets between 60 and 90 days for contract award from the day a solicitation is posted to our website at diu.mil. And that brings us to ViaScience. So ViaScience was selected as a result of the highly competitive process to address the DoD problem of network security and accessibility concerns of the future. The goal was to provide, the goal is to prove the ability of blockchain and other Web3 technologies to provide a decentralized secure network. By leveraging common components within the ViaScience solution, the DoD successfully prototyped secure, auditable, and multi-party computation for the secure sharing of data sets, resilient and auditable chain of custody for digital assets through fingerprinting and advanced hashing techniques, enhanced workflows with artificial intelligence and blockchain technologies to more securely and efficiently share sensitive information, as well as a data analysis and visualization solution, which allows the use of local large language models without directly sharing data or additional non-local transformation or processing. And that's a lot, but unfortunately with only 5 minutes, we'll only touch on 2 of those components to kind of give an idea of what ViaScience provides, as well as the potential scaled impact across the DoD. And I'd also like to quickly thank the VIA team for helping with presentation and then providing some key graphics and data. And with the surge of ChatGPT and the like, it's only proper we touch on VIA's AI support in the form of Slam AI. So share less, ask more, or Slam AI is VIA's solution to enable generative AI large language models for data that cannot be shared. Slam AI provides some key benefits, one being saving time, right? There's an estimated 35 to 45% reduction in code generation time when utilizing generative AI, according to McKinsey Consulting. Cost savings, leveraging open source Gen AI LLMs, as well as the ability to load CPUs over GPUs, brings significant cost savings. Improved security, no data transfer to large language models, virtual private cloud or on-prem solution deployment coupled with Web3 technologies provide auditability and security, and improve user experience. Diversified training sets are utilized to ensure Slam AI's ability to generalize new data and reduce the likelihood of AI hallucinations. And really a great thing to touch on is price, right? Quickly to highlight, a part of Slam AI utilizing open source LLMs is a dramatic reduction in cost. Quick cost comparison shows that there's an order of magnitude savings on monthly operating costs compared to a relatively well-known alternative. Next, we'll touch on VIA's blockchain-based decentralized storage component. VIA solution has numerous upgrades to open source decentralized storage solutions in support of the Department of Defense, to include leveraging zero trust architecture, employing quantum resistant zero knowledge proofs for authorization, utilizing open source container orchestration system for ease of deployment. And overall, decentralized storage just enables resiliency against network outages, denial of service attacks, and dramatically improved overall data security. Decentralized storage significantly reduces the reliance on machine performance and cloud access frequency, and that really helps with the operating costs. So cost projections, as noted here by VIA, have a potential savings of up to an order of magnitude by switching to decentralized storage. Company, this is an anecdote from the pre-render, a company that switched from AWS cloud services to decentralized storage and saved 80% in their monthly operating costs.
Thank you, Jonathan. We are just about out of time, though. We've got to get the center on.
Yeah. Thank you for the time. Really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you guys so much. So next up in the digital experience category, we've got the Department of Online Services from IRS. Y'all go ahead. Slides look good. You might just want to put them in presentation mode.
Great, thank you. Good morning, fellow emerging technology nominees. I'm excited to be here to celebrate the digital revolution that is reshaping the way we serve and interact with American citizens. I'm Karen Howard, the Director of the Office of Online Services, and I'm honored to represent the incredible team dedicated to transforming the agency's digital landscape with a purposeful focus on the digital experience. So what exactly is the digital experience? We see it as the overall interaction and engagement that users have with digital platforms, applications, and services. It encompasses the entire spectrum of the experience digital realm, which includes websites, mobile applications, software interfaces, and forms that provide digital touchpoints. A positive digital experience involves factors like ease of use, intuitiveness, solution-centric functionality, aesthetics, accessibility, responsiveness, and overall satisfaction while interacting with the spectrum of digital tools and platforms. It focuses on creating an environment where users feel engaged, empowered, satisfied, and emboldened in their digital moments. Digital experience considers personalization, where services and content are tailored and curated to individual preferences, enhancing the overall user journey while also enabling the choice of any time, any place, anywhere, and on any device. In an era where technology shapes the very fabric of our daily lives, the Office of Online Services commitment is unwavering in redefining the taxpayer experience while seamlessly merging convenience with compliance, privacy, trust, and security. Our pursuit is driven by a singular vision to empower, simplify, and make accessible the complex world of tax administration for every American. Our nomination for the GITEC Digital Experience Award stands as a testament to the tireless efforts and collaborative spirit of the teams behind the Office of Online Services. This includes our business stakeholders, information technology, taxpayer advocates, and vendor partners. Together, we embark on a journey fueled in innovation, data-driven insights, and a deep understanding of our users' and stakeholder needs. Through the convergence of cutting-edge technology, user-centric design, and the influx of the Inflation Reduction Act funding, we've begun to reimagine our digital platforms and applications, ensuring that navigating the intricacies of tax compliance are not only effortless, but also engaging and intuitive. We have enhanced existing and developed new digital experiences in authenticated and unauthenticated online tools like individual tax pro and business online accounts, digital two-way communication and document upload tools, live chat and various chat box, tracking applications like Where's My Refund or Where's My Amended Returns, improved navigation and search on irs.gov, a tax withholding estimator tool, language translations, and so many more. We've embraced change as an opportunity to be better and continuously improve by leveraging emerging technologies while never losing sight of the human element as the DNA of our services and tools. Our success is not just about pioneering technological advances, it's about the lives we impact, the span of business and that we support, and the communities we serve. At the heart of our innovation lies a deep commitment to our user-centric continuous improvements. Today, as we gather among peers and visionaries in the realm of technology, I invite you to join us in celebrating not only the nominees' contributions to the digital experience, but the collective journey towards excellence in the digital transformation. Our quest for innovation knows no bounds. Thank you for recognizing the Office of Online Services in this transformative journey. We're paving the way for the future of the digital experience, a future where interacting with the IRS and meeting your tax obligations might just be an unexpected pleasure. Thank you for having us, and happy holidays.
Thank you, Karen. Happy holidays to you and your team as well. All right, up next in the IT modernization category, we have the Enterprise Cloud Acceleration Team from the U.S. Coast Guard. Y'all take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. Next slide, please. Next slide. So I kicked off the Enterprise Cloud Acceleration Team back in November of 2022, staring down the prospect of deploying 2 cloud environments, a software factory and a data fabric, and trying to figure out how to do that with the current team structure that we had and move forward into the future. And so what I did was we created 10 different work streams. We took our Coast Guard Cyber Command, we took our security infrastructure, we took our infrastructure as a service folks, we took our cloud teams, we brought them all together into this one team we called the Enterprise Cloud Acceleration Team. That team was composed of 20 principal entities and up to 80 additional folks who join the meetings and participate in the journey on a weekly basis. We also integrated those teams down to from the implementer level all the way up to headquarters. So we were not only cross-functional, but also up to the policy level to get some traction in changing the way we do business, the way we deploy IT, deliver IT in the Coast Guard. So the first thing that we did was we aligned our vision across all those teams. What do we want to build? What do we want to achieve? We set up a weekly cadence to discuss the ongoing projects that were in play, the status of those, and also to make sure we are aligned with that vision. And we manage simultaneous org changes that we're trying to implement in order to support this structure moving forward. And this all culminated in us eliminating silos between our functional areas. This is a true matrix team. It is the definition of a matrix team, and we were very successful at implementing it. Next slide, please. So what is that vision that we implemented? We came out with this vision way back in November and 2022, and we stuck with it throughout our journey. We're building the future platform that the Coast Guard is going to use to deploy our application, our modernized applications onto today. And we want to establish a cloud center of excellence, a cloud brokerage that can help onboard applications into this environment, reduce the burden on the external parties who are going to help achieve our modernization. And I picked 3 words to characterize this: speed, resilience, and value. And we want to be able to bring people in, get them situated, and continue that journey on through a dedicated team that's focused on their success. Next slide, please. We spent 12 weeks on a journey called Mobilize. We partnered with AWS, and we were able to mature our organization. We went from a small team to that team of 80 that I was speaking of. We have the initial formings of our Cloud Center of Excellence, and we have traction all the way up to the 3-star level in our organization, understanding what the value of cloud is to our team. Next slide, please. And so what did we accomplish? Well, we established a new branch in our infrastructure division called the Cloud and Data Branch. I am the branch chief. We built out our cloud onboarding workflow and established our cloud brokerage. We completed that 12-week Mobilize effort. We received ATOs for 4 different things: AWS environment, our Azure environment, our software factory, and our data fabric. And we also delivered training to 150 participants in this cloud journey. We partnered with Pluralsight and delivered that training directly to them with tailored training experiences to get them cloud ready, to get the organization cloud ready. And then we also delivered a virtualized desktop offering, our first major application deployed upon the Azure environment. And that is being rolled out in replacement of our on-prem VDI experience to our entire organization. So very excited to present this to you guys. Thank you very much for the nomination. And it was a pleasure going through this journey with my team.
Thank you so much. Congratulations to you and your team. Up next in the DevOps category, we have Marine Forces Cyber Command and Marine Forces Systems Command team. So no slides on this one. Whoever's presenting, go ahead.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Unfortunately, I gaffed and did not present our slides to our public affairs office in time. So my apologies. I will have to do this briefing without slides, and I will be as robust as I can and quick as well. My name is Chris Kerrigan. I am the product manager overseeing tools and capabilities for defensive cyber ops mission spaces for the United States Marine Corps. Our problem statement and our use case revolved around cyber needs within our mission spaces for deployed soldiers out in the field. Having been in the seat for just a little over a year, my team has engaged with our mission partners, stakeholders, and customers over several topics, needs, requirements. And what we found is that one of the main requirements is the need for specific tools and capabilities that are usable out in the field. So specifically, they needed tools that could provide capability to conduct local remote operations in contested battle spaces. Number 2, containerized tools that could be used and have a reduced hardware footprint. And then 3rd, have capabilities and applications designed specifically for rapid deployment, again, using containerized applications. So how are we going to take that problem statement and turn it into a use case? So that use case was actually developed using a multinational and multilateral DoD test event. And because of the nature of classification in what we did, I am going to have to be high level. My apologies, but it was a very largely and well organized DoD test event. So our initial application was to assist field-based operations requirements and design and prove out our capability again in this DoD test event. So the Joint Fires exercise, it really concentrates on interoperability from US and partner nations to ensure target identification, target tracking, and target elimination occurring through joined networks and communication tools from multiple nations using various technologies. And our specific goal was to ensure that what we developed and deployed, ensured that the network the network that was used by this multilateral, multinational test event was secure, and that the traversing information and communication was either not deprecated nor infiltrated. So again, we had to build a tool or a set of tools using cutting edge technologies, sync it into the network, and again, ensure that the information and communication was neither deprecated nor infiltrated. So the first thing that we had to do was search for tools and technologies to use. Once we found that technology, we were able to extract the code baseline. We reworked that code baseline using a DevSecOps process that we developed and implemented, and we went to work. And as anything goes within DevSecOps, we had multiple engagements with all of the services that would talk to us and the operations forces that were not only US based, but worldwide based as well. And because we were so late to the game in joining this test event, we had to work very fast and very efficiently to ensure that our input to this exercise was successful. So we came up with a plan, created a DevSecOps process, converted that process into safe, agile processes to ensure that we met our timeline, coded, tested, secured, and redid that over and over again using an iterative process. And finally, I had some really great slides. My apologies. Were we successful? Yes, we were successful. So again, using the DevSecOps process that we created, it did have a pipeline that took in code, tested that code, containerized that code, and ensured that it was secured based on the baseline that we had our IATT or interim authority to test, which was required to be able to exist within that particular network. So what did we learn? So through the leadership and hard work from our team members, really success was achieved, and it was defined, refined, and it will give us an opportunity to use those lessons learned and attend more of these multilateral test events. We saved millions of dollars in code development by using code from a partner service. We ingested several different data sources to meet the test requirements. We did this through our internal acquisition process and initiated, improved our DevSecOps process, and most important, made many more strategic connections for future projects and collaboration. Again, my apologies for not having these slides up and ready. The visuals would have been astounding, to make our point clear, but hopefully the story was told properly. Thank you again for the nomination, and thank you again. Take care.
Thank you, Chris. That was perfect. All right. Up next in the cybersecurity category, we have Program Management, Marine Corps Cyber Operations. Go ahead.
Good morning. I am also going to go sans slides, so sorry about that. But good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I want to first thank Advanced Technology Academic Research Center for accepting our nomination for this Excellence in Cybersecurity Award. And I'm honored to be presenting to you today. I am Chief Warrant Officer 3, Amanda Ilg in the United States Marine Corps. I'm attached to Program Manager, Marine Corps Cyberspace Operations and Marine Corps Systems Command. I specifically assist in the Defensive Cyber Operations product line of our PM shop under our product manager, whom you just heard from, Mr. Chris Kerrigan. Before moving on, though, I also want to acknowledge and thank the entire PM shop and those that support it for all of their dedication and hard work to the success of these projects. Our product line consists of the Big Data Platform series, as well as the Defensive Cyber Operations tools that bring cybersecurity and cyber defense capability from the cloud down to the tactical edge. We support all Marine Corps Defensive Cyber Operating Forces, whether that be the Defensive Cyber Operations Division and Network Battalion within our cybersecurity service providers, to our cyber protection teams and security operations centers within Marine Corps Forces Cyberspace Commands, to the Defensive Cyber Operations Internal Defensive Measures, also known as DCOIDM, companies in our communications and radio battalions within the Marine Expeditionary Forces, and to really the Marines that are forward deployed at the tactical edge. But the two capabilities within our portfolio that I'm going to specifically address today are the Defensive Cyber Weapon Systems Program of Record and our experimentation with technologies to bring those big data platform capabilities to analysts at every level. First, the Defensive Cyber Weapon Systems. So cyber protection teams and fleet DCOIDM forces have historically conducted their cyber hunt operations with the legacy cyber hunt toolkits. PM Marine Corps Cyberspace Operations inherited those legacy systems and grew them into full-blown programs of record within the Marine Corps. To bolster our success, we have co-located our PM shop directly with our supported Marines and have embedded a cyber weapons officer, myself, within the PM shop. This streamlines capability development and rapid improvement through the direct and constant interactions with our customer base. We are proudly in the process of fielding the next iteration of the Cyber Hunt toolkits. The new and improved systems, the Defensive Cyber Weapon Systems, deliver comprehensive, advanced, proactive, and reactive cyber defense capabilities, including network monitoring, intrusion detection, and threat analysis to identify and defeat adversaries in cyberspace, utilizing a next-generation mobile, modular, and scalable data environment suited for rapid deployment in diverse terrains. In simpler terms, we are working hand in hand with our cyber defenders every day to deliver the most current, capable, and relevant technology to hunt for adversaries in any climate and place, while simultaneously securing, hardening, and defending our networks. Moving on to the second capability I want to touch on with you today, we at PM Marine Corps Cyberspace Operations have leveraged an existing cyber defense cyber operations tool developed by a sister service that brings the power of the big data platform to the tactical edge and across the entire Marine Corps defensive cyber community. This has the added benefit of being at no extra cost. We have proven its utility and effectiveness in a multinational exercise by demonstrating the deployment of this big data analytic system, ensuring cybersecurity in real-world applications. The lightweight big data analytics system prioritized data sources and streamlined log analysis, delivering higher level insights for defensive cyber operations analysts. This type of capability can significantly enhance Marine Corps cybersecurity by working with our existing technologies and in conjunction with other programs of record by deploying long-term tactical defense operations technologies, providing advanced analytics for critical networks, and persistently connected remote hunt capability, ensuring cybersecurity and defense of our networks. In closing, I can say, despite ups and downs in any job, that I absolutely love what I do. I constantly feel we at the PM shop make an impact and are helping to strengthen our defensive cyber operations community, as well as the information networks that make up the Marine Corps enterprise environment. I want to thank you again for having me here. It's an honor and a privilege. Thank you and have a great day.
Thank you so much, Amanda. Congrats to you and your team. All right, up next in the IT mod category, we've got Google Clinical Notes to aid clinicians with Veterans Affairs. I see something on the screen. Do we have a presenter present for this group? If you're speaking, we're not hearing you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So our application basically uses natural language processing to examine the notes inside the VA. Let me advance. So in the VA, we have 130 different instances of the VA of our EHR. And so trying to find data inside those notes is really difficult. Also, the way the system's set up, each one of the EHRs is separate, so it's a decentralized system. But when we see patients, the patients go to multiple VAs. So what our application does is aggregate all of the data from across all of the different VAs. We put it into a large database, and we give our clinicians the ability to search that database. Trying to find anything when you have, on average, about 2,000 notes can be difficult. And so what this tool does is it gives you kind of a deep search, just like Google would for examining things on the web. We have a patient-centric application that we did so that you can find data inside the EHR. So the real power of this tool basically is each one of those little blocks that you see on the screen represents a hospital. And what we do is we gather that data in near real time, aggregate it into regions, and then those regions are then aggregated into a single database, and that's where we get the data. So we've made it so that it's highly available. It's quick. I mean, the normal search time inside EHRs, doctors spend way too much time clicking around. It's really not just a VA problem, it's a national problem. So what we've done is we've tried to take natural language technologies and apply them inside the clinical domain. And that's what our application is. So this is kind of an example of what physicians face, or clinical people. They're looking for a note. They want to determine what the history is of a particular patient, but they look at a bunch of note titles and they have to try to figure out where's the data that I need for this particular patient. And so what we have done, and most EHRs allow searching, but only for the title, which if you're looking for something very specific is not very good. So our application, which hopefully I can show you, not only does it give you the deep search to find text that you're looking for, but we also add visualization so you can see the notes on particular days. You can see manifestations of the similarities in different processes and different terminologies and things like that. You can also look at the term that you're looking for to see when inside of a time frame it was the most evident. Okay, so hopefully this is going to work. I thought the slides are fine, but there's nothing like seeing it. So we have a test patient here that I'm going to pick here. So this is just, a fake patient. But if we go for a search, if we're going to look for diabetes, it comes up with all the diabetes that this patient has, right? And so if we pick diabetes, there are 59 frequencies in here. This shows all the different notes that were available for that particular patient. If we want to look for look at a particular note, we can just hit this eyeball. And what it does is it shows that note from the EHR and it highlights whatever your search term is. If you want to look at those terms, basically, what you can do, if you want to refine the search a little bit, if you're diabetic, sometimes you have to have your eyes checked. So you could look for maybe macular degeneration. Let's see. And so what happens is that filtered your results so that you're just looking at eye consults now. And then if you want to look at the same note again, you can see along with diabetes, you have a subcategory called macular degeneration, and you can read the actual notes.
We got 30 seconds left, Dr. Toronto.
Okay, let me just show one final thing. If I want to look at structured data, I can also look at structured data. If I'm interested in chem labs and I want to look at somebody's, if you're diabetic, people look at their A1Cs. If I want to look at A1Cs, they can come up here and you can look at the actual notes where A1Cs were. If I go to structured data, it also shows the graphical depiction of those results, basically, so you can see any trends. And again, the real power of this isn't just looking at one individual EHR, it's the accumulated data from across the entire VA. So we give
Fantastic. Thank you so much. And congrats to you and your team for the awesome work. Up next in the IT modernization category, we've got the modernization of FDA's eNet space system. eNet spec system, apologies. Do we have our presenter online for modernization of FDA's eNspect system? I got it right that time.
Hello, good morning. My name is Silvino Mandir, and are you able to see my slides?
I think you have the wrong screen up. If you have a monitor
sorry.
showing me right now.
Sorry, how about now?
Perfect.
Awesome. So let me just do the slideshow. So we at the FDA, actually, I think I need to show the other screen, sorry. Or share. This is so much better, I hope.
It's showing me on the screen.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'll go ahead and just share this if you're able to see my screen. So we at the FDA are part of the electronic inspection application, and we belong to the Center for Office of Regulatory Affairs. Within the Office of Regulatory Affairs, we are responsible to make sure that anything, oh my God, I'm sorry. Okay, yes. So the eInspect system enables the FDA personnel, which is the investigators and supervisors that perform the operation on the field, to inspect any product that's either grown or manufactured within the United States and consumed by anyone within the US is inspected to make sure that the farms and the firms are maintaining good manufacturing practices. We also do inspect foreign facilities wherever we are importing products from any country other than the US into the US for it to be consumed by the folks within the US. So the eInspect system includes 3 components, which is the eInspect online application, eInspect field client, and the assignment management service. And the online system is primarily used for work creation, management, and review. And field client is something that we've developed to ensure that we can work in the offline mode. We do not, when we go out onto the field to inspect, chances are that you do not have any network at all. And when you don't have network and investigators are trying to perform their work, they need to have an application that they can perform in the offline mode. So in the offline mode, the application is installed on the user's laptop, and they're able to go through all of our questions that we have. And depending on the answer that they provide, the next question pops up. It's a rule base that we use to enable the questions that come up after. And the inspection workflow is basically this, where an assignment is created and assigned to the investigator. The investigator reviews the work list that they have and prepares for the inspection and conducts the inspection and generates an establishment inspection report and sends it off to the supervisor to review it and endorse the inspection package. eInspect currently has over 18 inspection protocols, which are intelligent questionnaires, and it enables the investigators to collect standardized data that can be used to generate and forecast reports. When we converted it from what we were using previously, which is we were using the Oracle Policy Automation rule base, which was tedious and extremely slow in terms of performance, we have now developed a custom solution that makes the performance about 80% faster for the investigators, which is saving a lot of time for the investigators while they are out on the field performing the work and collecting all of the data that we need to generate our reports, and also to be able to predict the issues that might come up in terms of, when good manufacturing practices are not followed by the industry.
30 seconds left.
Yes. I was going to show the application, but then since we are out of time, we have improved the performance. We have also enabled the investigators to collect all of the data that's needed and be able to give the report right at the field before they come back to the office and then generate their reports. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Yes, thank you so much. Congrats to you and your team. All right, up next in the DevOps and IT modernization category, we've got NASA's Aerosciences Evaluation and Test Capabilities for the Digital Transformation team. So if that team could please jump on and go ahead.
Hi, my name is Lori Arnett. I can't see, my video is not starting for some reason, but my name is Lori Arnett. I am the Associate Director for Digital Transformation for AETC at NASA. We are, you want to go ahead? I'll wait for Eric to get this slide next. So our organization is responsible for strategically managing the nationally critical wind tunnels across the agency. It's from coast to coast. Let's see, now it'll let me maybe. Yes, there I am. Okay, so we manage these facilities and they're all located across the country. There's 12 tunnels and they're tens of billion dollars worth of assets. We provide critical terabytes worth of ground test data to support different NASA missions like Artemis, our Sustainable Flight Demonstrator, and our sample return, as well as our DoD and commercial partners. So these facilities are anywhere from 40 to 80 years old, so they're very old, and we need to strategically maintain and sustain these facilities. So about a year and a half ago, NASA AETC released a strategic plan to maintain them for the next 10 years. And so that started our digital transformation journey. So you want to go to the next slide, Eric? So that journey began with us, like I said, in July of 2022, and includes the data governance piece. But we were able to, in a very short time, by December of that year, have a live data application in a cloud-based environment outside the NASA firewall to support us. So we use an approach to think big, start small, and act fast. So it's a use case. So with each use case that's tied back to very high business value, we're able to take a bite of the elephant at a time. So we made sure our use case is tied back strategically to our organizational goals and objectives. And by doing that, we've been able to really see a lot of success. So we started with the first application, we've refactored it, and it's continuing to grow. I'm not going to read the vision to you there, but we have a robust program both in data analytics as well as in our overall digital transformation. And I want to say that our key to success has been a clear line of sight back to our organizational value and having the right leadership support, which means we have the right staff and procurement, which is roughly about 1% of our overall budget for AETC. And that enabled me to bring together a very a very stellar team, a very small team, which heavily leverages interns. But I was able to bring on Eric Lopez, our data and analytics manager, who was going to go through some of the details. And you're muted, Eric. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Highlights with regards to IT modernization. The first one is
just our switch to the use of cloud computing and listening to the other presentations throughout the day, it seems like others are undergoing a very similar journey, which is great to see. My favorite example to talk through when we tell others about this journey is when I was getting ready to join the team. I was showing a picture of our previous data management solution, which included having a large storage bin of magnetic tapes where our treasure trove of wind tunnel data was stored. So when you hear cloud computing and movement to that, that's what we're talking about. Second, we have our unification through a specific software called Python. We have found that is one thing that has been very important to our success. We chose this because it is so widespread, and as I'm sure many of you encounter in the government, getting the right skill set for this kind of work can be difficult. But by simplifying the tool set by one that is easy to use and extremely powerful, we've been able to have continued quick progress by having chosen the right tool. And another thing that pairs extremely well with that is our strategic use of interns. Our interns have been incredible. We just had our send-off with them on this past Friday, which is always emotional because we always have a great cohort, which really advances our development and produces just so much and contributes so much to our team. By pairing the selection of the right tool with interns who come with a tremendous amount of an industry experience, we've been able to learn from them the same way they've been able to learn from us. In addition to that, we often have a preference for open source tools, which again is some I think I heard today during the other presentations. We find this extremely important. Procuring in the government in and of itself is a challenge. Again, I'm sure those are things that resonates with others. And having the option of being able to focus on those open source tools has helped us tremendously. And when we can't, we do bring on paid for tools as well. That's one thing that our team is proud of, that we have, as Lori mentioned, the procurement dollars backed by our leadership to do so. But also we're getting quite good at going through the process of bringing tools within the government. Moving on to our DevOps highlights. This is one thing that I'm very proud of this team is we have people from all over the country. We are across 4 different time zones. So the DevSecOps is extremely important to maintain, to make sure that we can contribute and work together as a remote team. We have a fully automated deployment pipeline from build, test, review, security scanning, all the way through production and cleanup. This allows our entire team to contribute and work together, which has been extremely important. And another thing too is when we designed our solution, I'm sure many of you are aware of the federal data strategy, FAIRest. We don't think of that just with regards to our data. We take the FAIRest framework and apply that to our entire solution. So whether it's our code, our containerization, our authentication and security, we want all of it to be reusable so that anyone within NASA who wants to replicate what we're doing can do so. And with that, I'm going to go on to a quick site demonstration to walk through a few different things here. So first, this is our data application that we call it ADAPT. Yes, it was a backronym. Yes, because we're at NASA. So that's the AETC Data and Analytics Portfolio Transformation. What you're seeing here is what we call our analytics catalog. We created this to make sure that whenever something is made, it just doesn't go into the abyss. People know where to find it. They know where to look. They know what's the most useful and what is the most applicable to them. So whenever our team of data scientists and software developers create some solution for someone, it is always put here so that others can gain value from it as well. The specific one I want to talk through with my remaining time is our performance and value framework. Performance and value is what our team uses to score our entire portfolio of wind tunnel facilities. We needed a method to be able to compare and make data-driven decisions regarding our facilities. As costs increase and budgets stay flat, we needed an entire decision-making framework to support our portfolio, and that is where performance and value came in. We have a lot of different analytics assets with regards to our performance and value, but the specific one I wanted to talk through is our trending data of our facilities. And because we have several who are interested in this framework, we actually have an anonymized version. which means we'll actually be able to show you the entire framework with no sensitive data. So this is our anonymized version. As you can see here, it just says facility 1, 2, and 3. You're not actually seeing a facility's data. This is for the audience to understand what this framework is about. So as you can see here, we have each of our facilities has 14 different attributes that contributes to the score. We have our overall portfolio score for 2022 and 2023, and this allows us to see a very detailed breakdown for each of the facilities. So for example, if I wanted to see the attribute scores for facility 8, I would be able to select it and see how it changes the resulting scores. We can see what our current place is right now. We could see that our overall 10-year strategic goal is to increase by 10 points over 10 years. And so hopefully over the next several years, we'll see this star slowly migrating and the other portfolios migrating along with it. So this is, again, a very quick overview of our performance and value framework. And to close it off, I'm going to pass it back to Lori.
Right. And if you go back to, if you would see the analytics page or catalog, you notice that we're not using it just for performance and value, but we're using this for financial, for workforce, for presentations. We're doing a lot within this environment, looking at our maintenance backlog, we're looking at report generation. So it's a very comprehensive tool targeting what the business value we need. So I just wanted to wrap with that and say thank you to my stellar team. Couldn't make this happen without them, and thank my management for the believing in us and letting us do this, and also thank ATARC for allowing us to present today. So thank you.
Yes, congrats. Thank you all. That was awesome. All right, in the DEIA category, we have the Office of Diversity and Inclusion at the Department of Air Force. All right, go ahead.
Yes, good morning, everybody. Great to be here with you. I want to talk to you a little bit about what the Department of the Air Force is doing, leveraging technology to drive our strategic initiatives forward. Next slide, please. Thank you. Just to let everyone know, everything that we do is guided by law, whether it's out of the White House with executive orders, the National Strategic Strategy, the National Defense Authorization Act, all the way down to our own DAF policy and guidance. And so everything that we do is done to meet the intention of the law. Next slide, please. One of the things that we had to do is develop a strategic plan for diversity and inclusion. And we did, it's published. We work to ensure that all of the goals identified here on this slide is what any work that we do is based upon. So everything is aligned to strategy. And so I'm going to talk to you about 2 initiatives that we have launched that we're super proud of. Moving things from paper-based to more technology-based. Up first on our next slide is our workforce analytics dashboard. This was released back in August 22 and has undergone significant upgrades over time and is truly a living product. It showcases an actual snapshot of where we are with demographic data at any period of time. And what's really special is we believe that this information should be available to all of our airmen and guardians. And so we have worked to ensure that level of transparency. It not only allows to see intersectionality of race, ethnicity, and gender, it also talks about our Air Force specialty codes, or those specific areas of concentration where someone has a great skill set. It goes down to demographic diversity. It also shows education and so much more. All of this information comes out of authoritative data sources, in our case being MIL PDS or DC PDS, and it is linked to the Air Force portal. And as I mentioned, it is available to all Department of the Air Force users. All they need to do is get an Envision license. And the visuals that you see here is just a tool for people to get really smart about this. Next slide, please. In this one, you will see what some of the different visualizations have looked like. To date, we've had 1,100 plus users. come in here and be able to slice and dice information so that they understand what the health of their organization is. I'm going to jump to the next slide, which is on our reasonable accommodations portal, where we actually were able to move things from paper into online. Last December, just 1 year ago, we implemented the use of an electronic reasonable accommodations request portal for individuals to electronically submit requests for reasonable accommodations. A reasonable accommodation is a modification or adjustment to work environment or the way activities are customarily performed, which enables an individual with a disability to enjoy equal benefits and privileges of employment as those who do not have disabilities. Now, requests for reasonable accommodations are submitted via the use of MS Forms application and are then sent to the Envision platform via the use of Power Automate flows. Implementation of the portal enabled automatic notifications to be sent to the requester of the reasonable accommodation, to their supervisor, and to their assigned disability program manager. Upon notification, disability program manager track all requests submitted and assigned to them and can update the status of their requests through the portal. The rollout of the portal, we developed a SharePoint page that serves as an electronic resource repository to house training videos and digital resources as a one-stop shop on how to operate within the portal. The SharePoint page also houses a disability program manager registration page to assist in identifying and creating workflows for accommodation requests. Processing times and data on reasonable accommodations requests can be extracted from the systems for Department of the Air Force internal and external compliance reports. This drives accountability and enables us to track how efficiently and effectively accommodations requests are being actioned, with the ultimate goal of providing our personnel the accommodations they need to be able to fully perform their jobs and execute their missions. The establishment of these electronic platforms has enabled the agency to use one authoritative source for tracking and obtaining statistics on reasonable accommodations, allowing the Department of the Air Force to make informed policy decisions. We are now able to determine at a glance the average processing time of reasonable accommodation requests from submission to completion and the most commonly requested accommodations. Once again, just a high-level snapshot of what we're leveraging technology in order to meet compliance and legal requirements. Happy to share this with you, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Marianne. We appreciate it. In the AI and data category next, we have the human-guided machine learning at the Army Research Laboratory. Go ahead, Nick.
Hi, can you guys see my screen, my slides?
Looks like it's loading. It says that you started sharing your screen. There you go. All right, I see it.
Okay, perfect. You guys still see? My slides are good?
Looks great.
All right, thank you. Okay, so hi everybody. My name is Nick Wadowich, and I am the science lead for the Human Guided System Adaptation Branch at the U.S. Army Research Laboratory. My team and I are very honored to be nominated for this award under the AI and data category. And so today I'm going to be talking about our innovative approach to pairing humans and AI together using human-guided machine learning. Now, this is a technology that we've been working on at the Army Research Lab since about 2017. And we really think that it's had a high impact, not only in the field, but within ARL and the Army in general. So as we all know, from advancements in robotics to large language models, AI has become an integral part of people's lives. And as AI continues to evolve, it's our mission at ARL to operationalize that science by not only informing senior leaders about AI advancements, but also bringing that AI into the hands of the soldier in a way that maximizes the joint capabilities of both the soldier and the AI. So really, our team has developed the science that fundamentally changes the nature of human-machine or human-AI interactions, as well as the future vision of the battlefield to enable the Army to operationalize it. So really, the core of our approach allows for rapid adaptation by using humans to guide and teach AI capable of operating robustly in dynamic environments. So what I mean by rapid adaptation is that we can reduce the training time for our AI systems from days and weeks to just hours and minutes. Now, this is especially important in cases of failure, indecision, or ethical dilemmas. So really the way that we've done this is by creating what we call a cycle of learning approach that implements multiple human-machine interaction techniques for humans to teach AI to overcome different types of AI failure under certain time and information constraints, as well as with limited operator availability. So what this essentially means is that we've created a method where people from all backgrounds can train and adapt AI without the need for any programming knowledge or AI experience. And we can do this in a very robust and safe manner. Now, we've demonstrated this approach in numerous applications where soldiers who don't have any background in AI can very quickly train and adapt their robotic counterparts to handle new tasks and missions in dynamic environments. Now, this breakthrough is critical in complex real-world Army scenarios where we are now able to integrate AI for the first time in certain Army applications such as command and control and military decision-making. And additionally, our work has directly led to ARL operationalizing science in over 10 Army future concepts and strategy documents, as well as into multiple Army cross-functional team products. And not only have we enabled the broader workforce to effectively teach machines to execute tasks and adapt to real-world challenges without the need for programming knowledge, we've also broadened the conditions under which human AI partnerships are effective by expanding our approach to allow not just one human training one AI, but teams of humans and AI working together. So we've expanded beyond this system to really allow for human AI teaming. And we've implemented these innovations into tools to allow extremely rapid turnaround of certain stakeholder problems into demonstrated solutions. So in fact, the National Academies recently stated that it was impressive to see how quickly our team integrated foundational models and our approach to open-ended AI problems. Okay, now, so taking this science from the current to the yet to be experienced future problem space, really represents one of the most significant challenges to research organizations. So to overcome this, what we've done is we've partnered with over 20 academic and government laboratories to identify viable approaches to human AI integration. And through these partnerships, we've developed a vision for incorporating humans and AI in a manner that allows both expected and unexpected technology evolution. And this vision enables broader workforce engagement, lower training costs for operators, and provides more resilient human AI partnerships. And even the Army Future Command's 4-star general stated that this vision represents, quote, good thinking. And so really in summary, we believe that our team has innovated upon human machine intelligence to really revolutionize the way AI is being operationalized within the Army, enabling rapid adaptation and effective problem solving to significantly enhance the Army Research Lab's mission to transform scientific understanding into practical applications. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nick. Congrats to you and your team. Up next in the cybersecurity category, we have the OPM cybersecurity team. So I'd like to welcome them on, and the floor is all yours.
All right, perfect. Let me get my slides up here in a moment.
Good to see you, James.
Hey, Kirsten, how's it going? It's been a little while.
Good, I know. Good to see you.
Share. All right, let's get this party started. So good morning, everyone. First and foremost, I want to say that I'm proud, excited, honored, and so many more adjectives I can't think of right now to not only be representing OPM cybersecurity team, but OPM overall. And I wanted to again thank you, ATARC, for considering OPM cybersecurity team for the Excellent Cybersecurity Award. Now, I do want to say that a few years ago, saying OPM, cyber and excellence in the same sentence, you'll probably be raising your eyebrows and saying, huh. And now we're up for the same award with cybersecurity powerhouses such as CISA, NIST, Coast Guard, GSA, Marine Corps, Commerce, and Department of Energy. So that's pretty exciting for us. All right, so let's talk about the journey, how we're here. Now, 2021, we devised a cybersecurity strategy to position OPM as a trustworthy partner for future federal employees, current federal employees, and retired federal employees, as well as agency partners and business partners. This cybersecurity strategy was eventually merged into OPM strategic plan, which was published earlier this year. And some of the key objectives within the cybersecurity strategy was, number one, we wanted to increase our cyber visibility and protections of our key systems, our high value assets, one may say. Two, we wanted to achieve cyber modernization to counter the ever-changing and increasing threats to our mission. And three, we wanted to train staff, all of our staff and stakeholders in their cybersecurity role and responsibilities. And lastly, and this is really key for me personally, increase the perception of OPM as a trusted entity in the protection of customer and stakeholder data in mission critical processing. All right, so these objectives focus OPM cyber team, OPM overall, towards sprinting to the cloud, figuring out ways to modernize our governance, figure out how to address the multitude of audit findings we had in cybersecurity that we accumulated over the past decade or so. Figure out how to integrate data analytics and automation into our processes and procedures, engage better with the enterprise. Again, cybersecurity is everyone's responsibility, it's a team sport, and then really lean forward and leverage DevSecOps. So in 2001, I'll say we had some pretty hefty ambitions, but the team, they brought in, they put in the work. And some of the key advancements I want to share here, that we made tremendous strides in implementing our zero trust architecture. We migrated from on-premise technologies with not the up-to-date hardware supporting those to cloud native and cloud native cybersecurity tools, which covers from the cloud down to on-premise so that we have greater visibility in automation and technology protecting our environment. We rewrote our policies, procedures, IT, contract language, acquisition language to ensure that the key cybersecurity requirements were baked in. We prioritized resolving and avoided audit findings. One of the key things also is we increased engagement with OPM internal stakeholders. Via mechanisms such as our lunch and learns and office hours where anyone in the agency come in and ask cyber any questions. All right, so these ambitions resulted in some really huge wins. We closed over 100 audit findings in FY23, including one, if it was a person, it will be a sophomore in high school, it's a 16-year-old finding. Additionally, here we go. We improved our cybersecurity progress report score from a 74 at the end of last year, end of FY22, to a 91% in FY23. We made tremendous strides against our White House executive order requirements, going from not so great to nearly 100% in both encryption and arrest and transit, and to pretty much finishing up multi-factor authentication, which we should be done with at the end of this month. And all this resulted in our IG increasing our FISMA score, our rating, to level 3, which is the first time we achieved this in a long time. So overall, like to say, we're now starting at the basics, which is enabling OPM to be cyber resilient to current and future threats, and setting the foundation as OPM move into the era of artificial intelligence, so we can enable our mission to serve the entirety of the federal workforce. So with that, I'll wrap it up here, see if there's any questions, but I want to say thank you all for the time. And again, I'm extremely honored to represent OPM for consideration for the Excellence in Cybersecurity Award.
Amazing. Congrats to you and your team. Thank you so much. All right, up next in the DEIA category, we've got Government-Wide IT Accessibility Program with GSA. So if our GSA folks would like to go ahead.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I do need the previous presenter to stop sharing so I can share screen. All right. Well, thank you to those who are, whoops, let me go back a little bit. Thank you to those joining. It's an honor to be among many of you who are nominated as an awardee for the GITEC Awards under Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility. Before I talk about our program and our team, I do want to set the stage for accessibility in the context of diversity, equity, inclusion. Roughly 1 in 5 to 1 in 4 Americans lives with some form of disability. That's millions and millions of people, including our coworkers and members of the public that we serve. And for these individuals, accessibility really is just the foundation for equity and inclusion. We can't have either unless the digital services and products and information that we provide are accessible to people with disabilities. To that end, Section 508 of the Rehabilitation Act was amended in 1998 to require that any federal information and communication technology that we produce, that we procure, that we maintain, or even use is accessible to people with disabilities. And that goes for both members of the public who access and use government information and technologies, or federal employees who need digital tools and applications to be accessible to do our jobs on a daily basis. That same Section 508 legislation that requires us to make our IT accessible to people with disabilities also tasked GSA, and by delegation my team, to provide technical assistance to agencies and individuals in meeting those requirements, in making our IT accessible. We share that responsibility with the United States Access Board. They have the additional responsibility to define and maintain technical standards for accessibility. Additionally, as of the Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, my team, GSA, we also have an added responsibility to produce an annual report to Congress about government-wide accessibility and compliance with Section 508. And that report is required to be a report agency by agency. I'll talk a tiny bit more about that in a couple minutes. But our primary method for providing technical assistance to agencies and individuals is via our section508.gov website. We have training and guidance from how to ensure policies adequately incorporate accessibility considerations, to how to ensure a document is accessible, to how to make sure that virtual meetings and webinars like this are accessible to people with disabilities. We have guidance, documents, checklists, self-paced training courses, all available on section508.gov. We also have a number of tools available on section508.gov to help agencies implement Section 508 requirements. The accessibility requirements tool helps identify requirements for market research and or to incorporate in procurement solicitations. The solicitation review tool helps identify whether or not adequate language is already included in solicitations that make it to section508.gov. And we're developing an accessibility conformance report repository to make it easier to get accessibility information about products alongside other product information to help inform purchasing decisions. And finally, we've had a big year this year. Our team is just a team of 4 federal staff and a small contract support team. But in the course of a single calendar year, we've produced 2 reports to Congress. The first was a joint report produced with the Department of Justice and based on a smaller set of data that our team has gathered on behalf of OMB every 6 months over the past several years. And the second was a new requirement as of that Consolidated Appropriations Act of 2023, but it's a requirement that requires an annual report going forward. As part of that new requirement, we first consulted with OMB, the White House, and US Access Board to define assessment criteria. And then based on data that agencies submitted in August, our team has conducted analysis to identify correlations between organizational characteristics and practices and conformance outcomes. And ultimately, we're providing recommendations. That report is due to Congress on the 29th of this month. We hope to be able to submit and transmit this week. And our recommendations, we hope to provide a little bit of a path forward to help improve accessibility of federal IT going forward. And appreciate your attention. That's our presentation. Thanks.
Thank you, Andrew and team. Congratulations to y'all. All right, in the IT modernization category, up next, we have the NASA Science Mission Directorate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Logreira, and I'm the Web Program Manager at NASA Science, at the NASA Science Mission Directorate. We are thrilled to be here, nominated for this Modernization Award. And really, I want to acknowledge all our teams who have been working on digital modernization for so long, trying to pull all the sources together. And I just want to mention that it's not just me. We have many teams working and doing amazing work to provide the best service to our audience. We can go to the next slide, please. So just to give you a little bit of an overview of what we do, NASA Science offers a public website with accurate science information with an audience-first approach that is a joy to use. This is our vision, and we are working one step at a time to achieve this goal. It's a massive enterprise, and I'm going to tell a little bit of what we're doing and where we are today. But I just want to share this because this is where we're going. We just want to make sure that we provide accurate information, verified scientific information to our audience. Next slide. So we embark in this modernization process, and we just released the first version of our modernized version of the science websites. What you have right now, I just noticed that the slide cut half of the graphic at the bottom. But what you have now are the two science websites, enterprise websites, science.nasa.gov and ciencia.nasa.gov, that were released on September 28th. These are the first websites that are going to host and be the housing of about 2,000 science websites that are going to be condensed and consolidated under one platform. In just 2 months since we launched, from September 28th to December 8th, we have 25.1 million page views on science, and we are absolutely proud of the feedback that we're getting from our audience. So far, we have about 6,500 surveys from people who are visiting the websites and are providing feedback from all over the world. We can go to the next slide. So just to give context and really for everybody to understand where we see it right now, we started with a portfolio of about 2005 websites on science, and our mission is to consolidate them all so people can find one place where they can have full experience of all the science that we produce at NASA. So we have 5 different divisions: earth science, heliophysics, planetary, many of those. And we have tons of teams working on all our different centers. Right now, the websites that you see live is just the first release, and we are hoping to increase experience and really start adding more sites as we go along. But one of our challenges is the massive amount of assets that we have, multimedia assets that all our teams have. I'm going to go to the next slide just to briefly give you a quick example of what we experienced with the annular solar eclipse that we just experienced in October. It was the first test for the environment, and it was a complete success. We have our record, all our previous projections in terms of traffic. But we also understand that we need to find placement for all the different assets that our contents have, our teams have. We can go to the next slide. This is really quick. Okay, so we are building a massive digital asset system so we can have all the different missions, missions and teams working at different centers, uploading content once and publish everywhere. We just want to make sure that our science is discoverable and that we streamline our processes, that we are consistent in terms of the requirements and approvals, so science is accurate and we have a one single source of truth. It was amazing to be here. I'm so proud to be part of this panel, and I'm really looking forward to work with all the other team members here. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you. That was wonderful. Congrats to y'all. All right, in the IT modernization category, up next, we have FAS GWAC, or the Professional Services IT Modernization Team from GSA.
Is our screen being shared?
Looks good.
Okay, Vanessa, over to you. Vanessa, are you on mute? Okay, I will go ahead and kick off the presentation. Hopefully Vanessa can jump in. Good morning. My name is Doug Powell, and I'm a senior IT specialist with the Office of Information Technology category. I joined GSA a year and a half ago and have been working with Vanessa Usen, who is our Deputy Director of the Office of IT Services on this IT modernization initiative. And the Office of IT category delivers flexible IT solutions and services, supports agency missions, and drives innovative and agile improvements through IT category management. Agencies benefit from choosing ITC because we offer a commitment to meet customer needs, easy access to the best solutions, cost savings, and compliance with federal regulatory guidance. Various offices across the Federal Acquisition Services successfully collaborated to complete a multi-year migration initiative that's aligned with GSA's implementation of a secure data-centric cloud ecosystem. The primary drivers behind this initiative included the need to migrate legacy business intelligence capabilities from on-premise hosting to the FAS Cloud Services environment, while simultaneously modernizing reporting and dashboard capabilities, optimizing access to business intelligence data, and ensuring data quality. This project aligns with GSA's data quality management strategy by implementing a systematic framework that continuously profiles data sources, verifies the quality of information, and execute processes to eliminate data quality errors. The team resolved data integration challenges and implemented data quality management best practices by aligning GWAC data storage and retrieval sources with the GSA's enterprise data architecture. We transformed our approach to project management by adopting DevOps culture, practices, and tools, which enabled continuous coordination and interagency collaboration across numerous functional boundaries. Requirements were extensively documented and prioritized based on feedback received during regular stakeholder engagement, which helped the team minimize scope creep, implement cross-organizational user acceptance testing, and maintain project schedule. As a result of this initiative, nearly 300 legacy data analytics and business intelligence reports were consolidated into 32 modernized reports and dashboards, which are hosted in the FAS Cloud Services, MicroStrategy, and Tableau environments. The new reporting capability provides countless internal and external users real-time access to government-wide contract data and enables GSA to optimize business agility and ensure regulatory, fiduciary, and contractual compliance. GSA's data to decisions implementation of Tableau provides a platform for deploying access control dashboards that provide users quick access to real-time information. Internally accessible dashboards display data visualizations and real-time performance metrics that allow leadership to perform in-depth analysis that supports the senior leader decision-making process. For example, the ability to view prior fiscal year contract performance and financial obligations data enables historical trends analysis to advise future business volume forecasting. Some dashboards are public-facing and offer valuable insights, including prices paid information, which can be used for market research by our federal, state, and tribal customer agencies. The team established a custom MicroStrategy ad hoc reporting environment that gives all users the ability to create unique reports via a user-friendly interface without requirement to have SQL or coding experience. This tool transparently joins data sets in the enterprise data architecture from multiple sources and presents those attributes in predefined filters as selection options to the end users. This tool has already proven to be a tremendous value to the organization in terms of both software development cost avoidance, accelerated response to data calls, and delivery of strategic information to decision makers. Thank you again to ATARC for the opportunity to be nominated and to share our team's success story.
Yes, thank you so much, Douglas. All right, up next in the IT modernization category, we have Business Integration Office of U.S. Department of Interior. So folks, please take it away.
All right, good morning, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Phenomenal. Good morning. So my name is Randy Albert, and I'm the Program Manager for Robotic Process Automation at the Business Integration Office in the Department of Interior. So one of the things I wanted to talk with you all about today is what we're doing in Interior to meet our mission needs and from an IT modernization standpoint. So first and foremost, our primary mission is FBMS, and that is the Financial and Business Management System. It's the administrative backbone for the DOI mission, replaced 87 legacy systems. Pretty huge initiative here. We have 14,000 plus total FBMS users, and at full deployment, no other cabinet level agency has conceived, created, and successfully deployed such a software solution on the scale and scope of FBMS. But that's not really what I'm here to talk to you about today. What I'm really wanting to cover with you is how we're using automated technology to continue to solve our mission needs. So first up, we've got our first robotic process automation, and this is Bob the Closer. And so the business need here, as you can see going into this, was the Department of Interior, Office of Acquisition and Property Management, and the DOI acquisition community all needed an efficient and scalable solution to address specific contract closeouts and some deobligations. The goals here were essentially to reduce those contracting officers' hours and effort required to prepare those deobligations and to close those contracts. And here, what we're really talking about is simplified contracts with $0 remaining on them. So this bot is actually quite large. It's 6 different capabilities, but the ones that we've run the most are listed here. So the first item it does is it automates contract closeout actions by capturing, analyzing, drafting modifications, and emailing COs a list of expired contracts for potential closure. This automation runs every month on the 4th without any human intervention. We also perform human-initiated contract closeouts with this bot with documented CO approval. This is run ad hoc as needed by humans. And so how has this bot done for us? I can tell you it's honestly been phenomenal. It closes 29 contracts per hour, nights, weekends, holidays, you name it, never get sick, just kidding. So far we've closed 36,855 contracts across DOI, and we have another almost 35,000 contracts that are in the backlog to be closed. So total projected contracts that we hopefully will have closed in the next year are over 71,000 contracts. And what does this avoid? Well, best estimates that we have, it's about 1 hour per contract to close these out. As you can see here, very little maintenance, open issues, or outages to contend with. So this has been a phenomenal success. Next slide. All right, so next up at bat, we have our PAL bot. The business need here was the Department of Interior, Office of Grants Management needed a solution to efficiently compile and disseminate assistance listings information. Assistance listings information is detailed public descriptions of federal programs that provide grants, loans, scholarships, insurance, and other types of assistance. So their business goals here were to enable that efficient collection and dissemination for data calls, GAO, OIG calls, leadership taskings, and other things, ensure that public-facing assistance listings data was accurate, timely, and reliable. And so we've done just that. On the 1st of every month, this beautiful little bot goes out there, pulls down all the data needed, and it emails the PGM staff with a searchable Excel spreadsheet. So as you can see here, about 30 minutes per run, 310 rows of data per run, but it's saving a ton of time, 1,860 hours per year on average, which is about 90% of a federal civilian's time for an entire year. Phenomenal effort, and as you can see, very little maintenance, open issues, and outages. So that's all I had for you all today. Thank you so much for the opportunity to highlight our accomplishments, and have a phenomenal holiday season.
Thank you, Randy. You too. That was perfect. Okay, in the workforce innovation category, next up, we have FSIS Philadelphia District New Windsor Circuit Supervisor Team. Do we have our presenter online for this group? If you're speaking, I can't hear you. You might be muted. Okay, we'll give this team another minute here.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hi, yes, Dr. Chang, we can.
Yeah, okay, yes, good morning, everyone. Today my presentation topic is workplace innovation for salmonella regulation, job performance, and team management. This is a teamwork. My colleague supervisor and district manager supported me very well, so I can have a talk here. Next slide, please. So under this topic, I'm going to focus on a system I called data-driven intelligence system for food safety inspection service. So as you know, for the purpose of food safety inspection, our agency, FSIS, has developed a worker system years ago that combines public health information system, PHIS, task performance, reporting databases, and laboratory detection technologies for pathogen inspection and other safety factors. So this year, my supervisors and our district managers supported me very well. So I investigated this system for salmonella risk and categorization, but found some problems. Next slide, please. So I show in this table, different production facilities produce a very different result. The variation is very big nationwide. So it's very big. Oh, okay, too fast. Okay. Yeah, so for example, yeah, in this slide, some plants show the salmonella is a pathogen in category 1, no color. That is no risk. But others show the salmonella in category 3, that is in red color. This is the highest risk. So different facilities show different result. The variation is very, very big. Next slide, please. So for this reason, I further investigated all the cases nationwide and categorized all operation business into 5 groups. So each group represents each classes of business operation status at that moment. So using that categorization classification, our managers and leaders can monitor the situation nationwide. It's more easier. Next slide, please. So here is a case example showing that this plant has been in salmonella category 3 for almost 3 years without significant improvement most of the time. Our USD employees have been working in this plant very hard. The task completion rate is also very high, over 90%. However, the situation showed consistently very high in category 3, as shown in the picture. Next slide, please. So for this reason, I was wondering why it's not working. The system is not working. I performed a statistic analysis based on our employee performance task completion rate and category from 1 to 3. I found there's no relationship. That means no matter how hard our people are working, the salmonella situation never improved. So it's very strange. Next slide, please. So for this reason, I work with my team members and investigated the reason. I found good facilities always good most of the time. And however, the worst is very hard to change. So this is the challenge for our management as a supervisor, I have been very headache. That was my headache. So next slide, please.
Got about 30 seconds left.
So next slide. Yes. So for this reason, my supervisor and I work together. Yeah, we used a digital monitor system to check every week or more often what happened, what problem. So in this way, if we find a problem instantly, we solve the problem immediately. So next slide, please.
Dr. Chang, I'm going to have to ask you to wrap it up, please. We're running over.
Okay, faster?
No, we're out of time.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
yes,
that's fine.
But thank you so much. That was really wonderful, and congrats.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you very much. Okay.
All right, take care. Bye.
Okay.
All right, next in the workforce innovation category, we've got EUS Wellness Campaign from the Veteran Affairs. So Allison Warner and team, please go ahead.
Hey, hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right. Well, hi, good morning. Thanks for having me. I'm Allison Warner from the Department of Veterans Affairs and User Services Office of the Chief of Staff, led by our Chief of Staff, Renee McDonald. Thank you, everyone. Our team is honored to have received this recognition of our EUS Wellness Campaign and delighted to present to you today on how this campaign has contributed to workforce innovation amongst our employees and IT professionals. So at the close of 2022, our team came together to analyze the results from our annual employee survey and recognize some common factors across the organization that we really just could not ignore. We had an all-time high employee response rate, which told us our employees believed in speaking up about their experiences, but the feedback also indicated employees were feeling burned out, overwhelmed, and experiencing some stress regularly, which was really concerning to us. So as an organization, we needed to address these concerns for the betterment of our IT professionals who have the daily mission to serve others. Our organization championed a change in culture through various initiatives in alignment with employee wellness and in support of the United States Surgeon General's call to attention for workplace leaders to engage all workers and equitably support their mental health and well-being. We had no idea when we started what our wellness campaign would really grow into and how it would strike a chord with so many. So for you to really understand a little more about our IT professional workforce, I want to take some time to demonstrate who we are as an IT organization. End User Services is the integral service provider for the VA enterprise. If you need a new laptop, equipment, or require IT services of any kind, and you work within the Department of Veterans Affairs, you will be reaching out to one of us for those services and requests. To give you an idea of the enormity, there are currently over 750,000 different devices on the network at any given time. As you can see, the VA end user community has increased significantly since 2021, over 50,000 customers and users, while EUS, represented in red, has experienced a decrease of 1,000 staff serving that demand. That's equivalent to a 1.8 IT to FTE ratio. To level set, the average ratio in federal government is almost 5%, making it OIT leaner than industry standards, both private and public. Looking at overall trends since 2021 to present, we've really experienced an increase of nearly 1,000 in daily ticket, national average being managed by 1,000 less EUS staff. Here you can see a huge increase in the blue tickets versus the significant red decrease representing our staff. So bottom line, our staff is feeling burned out. To top it off, customer satisfaction scores were coming back with positive ratings across the board, meaning customers were happy with our IT professionals. We were continuing to deliver excellence, satisfying our mission to delight the customer anytime, anywhere, for anyone. We saw a rising cost in overtime utilization, exposing a 21% increase in spend from last year, nearly $1.5 million in overtime, to continue delighting the customer, ensuring services were being provided at the highest caliber. So our IT professionals continued to deliver excellence, but at what cost? You can see 46% were experiencing various levels of burnout symptoms weekly. It was time to make work more meaningful and enjoyable, and we focused on what we could do to reduce job stress and pressure and nurture an environment of employee wellness and growth. The EUS Wellness Campaign was born. We knew if we wanted to continue to have happy customers, we would need to take care of our employees first and foremost. We started off with an idea to create a one-stop place for employees to visit and interact with, and we called it The Well. The place where employees could go and access resources, where we as an organization could invest and pour into employee well-being. It started off small. It's been growing in content and visits and views ever since, over 3,600 views to date and numerous contributions from employees. Some of the content includes topics on creating balance, stress management, nutritious eating, and physical fitness. A great place many of our employees like to start by taking the personal health inventory assessment and exploring from there. We have a myriad of resources to include an EUS mental health corner, VA support resources, and our most popular initiative, the EUS Wellness Wall, which I'll share with you a little bit here. To foster employee well-being, our team spent numerous hours researching, setting up, coordinating, and delivering a quarterly engagement series utilizing subject matter experts from VHA. These interactive presentations were widely attended and gave our employees a chance to interact with wellness experts and our leadership. We're going to continue the series in FY24, highlighting burnout mitigation, trust and psychological safety, healthy workplace relationships, and workplace ergonomics and physical fitness. EUS Wellness Champions delivered a robust wellness communications campaign to bring employees positive wellness messaging throughout the work week. One of our most popular features was Feel Good Friday. These messages feature one EUS employee photo shared to the wellness wall and highlights what brings them joy and contributes to their overall well-being. Our goal was to close out the work week and send our employees into the weekend on a positive note. The upbeat messages really encouraged employees and enhanced engagement. In addition, the Wellness Wednesday tip of the week, it just covers a variety of wellness-focused topics, nutrition, mindfulness, fitness. They're just less than a minute to read and a few minutes to implement. The intention of these messages is to serve as a reminder to our IT professionals to take a short pause and focus on their own mental health with a quick read. We've seen a 3% increase in employee engagement and a 2% increase in the best place to work index score in our most recent employee survey. We're just amazed at the umbrella of wellness brought forth so many different topics and resonated with so many across our IT workforce. We knew collaboration and partnerships through the EUS Wellness Campaign was key and really required bringing in the experts on important topics to truly grow our employees. We also implemented workforce upskilling initiatives through career pathing and roadmaps, as well as ITWD certification programs, over 350 seats requested for our IT professionals. As a result, EUS maintains a 99% retention rate through our partnerships with subject matter experts from VHA, Franklin Covey, Office of the Resolution Management, Diversity and Inclusivity, to name a few. Our team really strived to offer employees with strategies to succeed in a healthy and inclusive environment and do it as innovative as we could. We even saw a decrease in the number of employees who experienced discrimination from FY22 to 23, a nearly 1.5% reduction, which is huge across an organization of this size, and a 65% reduction in adverse employee reactions events reported to date. One of the most powerful trainings came from the Rocky Mountain Mental Illness Research Education Clinical Center, which we coordinated powerful suicide prevention trainings, offering powerful suicide prevention training offerings for our employees and supervisors, a topic very concerning to any organization. We were able to offer staff with coaching elements aimed to eliminate stigmas and equip staff with necessary tools, such as coping skills and post-vention planning on how to react as a leader in the event of suicide occurs amongst staff. One of our most successful initiatives, as I mentioned earlier, is the Wellness Wall, this gallery wall of original photographs artfully displayed, showcasing what our IT professionals do for their own well-being. it was just such a huge success we found and continue to grow and grow. Another exciting initiative we're very proud to have implemented across the organization is our EUS virtual dance party. We like to get the party going every Thursday, get everyone up out of their chairs for 15 minutes to combat workplace burnout and shake off workday stress, re-energize the body and mind, and connect with each other virtually. Our employees have found this to be a top-rated wellness activity, and I've personally found it to be one of the best uses of technology. We tell our employees to get up, turn their cameras on, and show off their dance moves. It's just been so much fun, and it's been a very innovative and captivating, with thousands of employees asserting a positive impact on their overall health and well-being. Just looking ahead.
30 seconds left, Allison.
Thank you. We plan on rolling out a walk and roll as a part of our FY24, a virtual exercise. As you can see, we've had a lot of success throughout the campaign. We don't have time to go through them all, so I'll wrap it up. But EUS really continues to commit to the health and wellness of our IT professionals through creativity and workforce innovation in our wellness program. So thank you all for letting me present at the GITEC Summit today. And if anyone wants more information, please reach out in the Q&A. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Congrats to you and your team. Okay, next in the workforce innovation category, we've got human intelligence systems skill development at the Army Research Laboratory. And Jeremy Gaston, I believe, is our presenter. So Jeremy, if you want to go ahead and come on camera.
Oh, sorry, can't see my video, can you?
I can see your screen, but no, not your video.
Yeah, for some reason it says cannot stop the video because the host has stopped it. There we go. Okay. Perfect. All right. Hi, good morning. I'm Dr. Jeremy Gaston. I'm a Senior Scientific Technical Manager at DevCom Army Research Laboratory. So on behalf of my team, we're honored to be nominated for the Workforce Innovation Award. The Army Research Laboratory is Army's corporate laboratory. Our mission is to develop foundational science and technology and operationalize that S&T to accelerate getting advanced capabilities in the hands of our warfighters. It's becoming increasingly clear that our future will see an exponential rise in the importance of intelligence systems. And to make these systems effective, we need to develop integrated partnerships between human and machine intelligence. To this end, it's critical that our science and technology workforce develops the critical new skills that can create innovative solutions that combine both human and machine intelligence. This is especially challenging, especially when you consider the widespread oversimplified perspective on human and machine tasking that asks who gets what job and largely views AI as a replacement for humans. We posit that AI isn't going to replace you, but a human working with AI probably will. AI will do parts of a soldier's task better, but the challenge is to integrate those parts into a flexible and adaptive team of human and machine. Our group has embraced the transformational benefits of AI, autonomy, and robotics by moving beyond these oversimplified perspectives on human-machine integration. To achieve this, we've implemented a multi-pronged initiative. This has developed a workforce with the necessary depth of knowledge across human and machine intelligence disciplines that enables the future of effective human intelligence system teams. This initiative has included numerous science, technology, engineering, and mathematics and university training programs, postdoctoral fellows, joint interagency efforts, joint government and academic research projects, and has also resulted in full-time early career developmental assignments in critical science and technology areas. It's also included wide-reaching government outreach and training in new skills for our employees. The significant outcomes of this initiative have included our group winning multiple awards in several major AI challenges. We've also received high praise from the National Academies of Sciences, where they wrote that our efforts have resulted in, I quote, tremendous impact in terms of early career research training, and also an impressive ability to rapidly integrate humans with emerging open-ended AI. In addition, these efforts have resulted in human intelligence system concepts being incorporated into more than 10 Army future strategy and concept documents. These efforts have also garnered advocacy by 2 Army 4-star generals and have included more than $100 million in funding, research funding to date. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Jeremy and team. You guys even had a couple minutes left. That's everything? Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect,
Yep.
you guys timed
On
it.
time, save you a minute or two.
Perfect, thank you so much. All right, so next up, we've got the IT modernization category. This is the Department of Veteran Affairs Office of Information and Technology Software Factory, and Nicole Gilbride, if you are online, I believe that is our presenter.
Yes, I am here. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. I am Nicole Gilbride from VA's Office of Information and Technology. And you heard from the VA team just a few minutes ago from Allison and our end user services team about the wellness campaign they launched, which helped our employees' well-being from that side. And we wanted to share with you a little bit about how we're supporting our workforce by enabling them, our IT delivery team specifically, to feel confident, valued, and supported in their delivery of our software solutions through creation, adoption, tooling, scaling, et cetera, through the software factory model. So without further ado, if we go to the next slide, I will give you a little bit of an overview of what the software factory model is. This is IT's attempt to build and deliver software applications for our customers and veterans that are better designed, faster to solution, and safer for us to operate. This is all about scaling how rapidly and easily we can deliver technology to our end users and in support of our business customers. Most of you probably are aware that technology is evolving and needs to be delivered faster and faster. And so we really want to meet our needs of our customers and our end users, the veterans, and really ensure that we're putting those tools in their hands as rapidly as possible. And the factory model enables us to do that. The factory offers us the opportunity to really emphasize on some of the core tenets of like standardization, repeatability, reuse, and efficiency, so that we are manufacturing, to use the factory model term, manufacturing software in a way that is consistent and reliable, and it fulfills the needs of our customers really rapidly because speed is so crucial. And it also helps us leverage innovative technology and have a real process and system. So how we are developing and delivering and solutioning the newest emerging technology as rapidly and easily as possible. And then also maintaining that usability and security, making sure that the user experience is factored in, human-centered design is part of how we solution, and that we're using the right security protocols, automation in place so that we're delivering really safe and secure solutions. It also helps us meet our 3 goals, which is sort of the tagline of the factory model: better, faster, safer. Like I said earlier, we want things that are better designed, that are leveraging innovative technology, reducing our footprint, complexity, and our technical debt. We want things that are faster, so we're faster at delivering those solutions to our business partners, to our customers, to our end users, the veterans, and their beneficiaries and family members. And we want to have a single, easy way so that it's not confusing when you come to VA wanting to know how to get something done. It's really easy for you to do that and find the way to get solutions faster. And then safer, like I mentioned, on embedding simplicity, usability, and security from day one into how we solution. If we go to the next slide, you'll be able to see a little bit about what this factory model looks like in play. This diagram walks you kind of from left to right with how we are solutioning in the factory model. So it all starts and really ends with intake, how we get a requirement that comes into the factory and how we determine what play we're going to use. Is it a commodity that needs to be solutioned, a customized commodity, or is it highly differentiated, which is going to require a truly custom system built on one of our certified platforms? We run things through that intake model. We make a play decision based on the technology solutions and offerings at play and the rest of the portfolio that solution set will sit within based on our end user and customer. And then we are also supporting that through utilities, which are sort of our way of thinking about the things that we know are really standard for any software solution. So that's things like, how are we doing application performance monitoring? How are we doing network system communications? How are we solutioning things around tooling and project management so that the product teams have the right resources they need to deliver? And so when you come out of the factory, you'll get your solution. But if we go to the next slide, you can see more details on those play decisions that we make. So we walk people through this process, the requirements that come in, and we make these determinations of what solution set is best, what play decision is best. And that play decision will land you in one of our factory supported solution spaces. So you'll end up in our software as a service space, our platform as a service space. You can end up in our custom software factory. We also have a number of platforms that have been certified for you to develop or deploy within in the factory model. And like I mentioned at the beginning, we're sort of scaling this solution right now. So we spent the last 2 years taking a very IT agile approach to it. So we piloted the concept. We built on an idea that a team had already had that was working really well. We piloted it and have been scaling it over the last year. And now this is the year where we're really heading into a wide adoption of this solution set. And I think one thing I want you all to know is that this also is going to have an impact on other teams, especially those that interact in the VA space or teams that are working and operating on support services for VA. So more to come in the next few months as we keep rolling this out, but there's a lot in the factory space that's going to affect how the developer experience works, both on the VA side for our product team members and on the contract side for people that are delivering solutions for us. Got a lot happening with developer experience. We've got a lot happening with how we're structuring our contracts and support services to reflect the standards that this model provides. So you'll be hearing a lot more about the factory model in the future. And thank you so much to this group for inviting us to come and share with you all. And there's some contact info on the slide if you've got questions. With that, I will hand it back to Kirsten.
Yes, thank you so much, Nicole and team. Congrats. Up next in the workforce innovation category, we've got U.S. Marine Corps, CDET, MarineNet, and Larry Smith will be presenting.
Thanks, Kirsten. Good day, everybody. Next slide, please. Next slide. So here's what I'm going to cover. First of all, I'm the Director of Educational Technologies at Marine Corps University at Quantico. I'm going to talk real quick because I think I put too many slides in the deck. So I'll cover the wave tops here. So this is just things I'm going to cover. Next slide, please. So this is an ecosystem within the e-learning space, particularly when it comes to military education and training. So this is what we say is our ecosystem concept. It's a environment to essentially create, deliver, and track learning across the Marine Corps enterprise. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Oh, there we go. So here's our problem statement. We had no digitally based system that could do what we said needed to be done. So we had to develop a requirement. I apologize. There's a little bit of Marine speak in here as far as TCOM, that's Training and Education Command. So we took a small asynchronous LMS and we're required to increase its capability based on the needs of the Marine Corps. Next slide, please. So one of the first things we realized is we needed a way to scale rapidly, change e-learning technologies as they came available or as they needed to be modernized or what have you. And we found that the best solution for us was Adobe Experience Manager. We could make changes very quickly on our end. We didn't require any build cycles or anything like that. We could make rapid changes as needed. Next slide, please. Adobe Connect, we had no way to do synchronous virtual classes. Arguably that Zoom is a capability, as is Microsoft Teams, but those are really collaboration tools. If you've ever used Adobe Connect as an instructor, you know that there's a plethora of capability for Adobe Connect. So that's why we went with the solution. We've also helped Adobe rewrite the tool itself to where it is now completely web-based, and we are at getting ready to launch the IL4 or CUI protected capability for Adobe Connect. That for those of you that are interested, you can leverage our FedRAMP package. Next slide, please. Moodle. We needed a way for our instructors to reach our students. I know there are several open source tools available, but we went with Moodle because creation of content within Moodle is a little bit easier than some of the other offerings. It's FedRAMP approved, but we self-host it. There's no licensing cost or storage constraints, so it scales appropriately for us. Next slide, please. MarineNet Video Services. This is our version of YouTube. The difference is that that there's a moderation process because we do allow user-generated content. In other words, some of our younger learners can get in, video themselves doing certain things, but we want to make sure that as the content is released, that it meets proper procedures, safety requirements, things like that. So we are able to either make whatever video is released either open source or behind a CAC authentication. So it really helps us as far as dividing the content as far as who needs to see it, things like that. Next slide, please. Question mark. This is our collaboration and our assessment and survey tool. It's cloud-based, so we can control who gets into it and who doesn't get into it. And we found it to be very easy to allow instructors to collaborate on both their assessments and their surveys. Next slide, please. Communities, believe it or not, we have an internal social capability. We found a lot of our younger learners really leverage social knowledge as one of the ways to learn. So we wanted to provide this capability. Next slide, please. This is how we look. W Experience Manager in the middle, and all the tools I talked about. The only other thing that I would add is the Marinet and about the 10 o'clock position. That's our legacy LMS. We still have that for asynchronous content, and our library, which is a file structure for organizations to upload their training content. Next slide, please. How do we get the word out? Monthly Q&As. We do have a virtual workshop once a year that is open to those across DoD and federal government. We have quick fact start guides if you want those. And my staff is constantly testing and evaluating new products. Next slide, please. Here's our challenges. FedRAMP, if you've ever gone through the process, you know that it can make you old very quickly. IT acquisition, obviously, right up there with FedRAMP. We manage the training for all of our privileged users. In other words, anybody that is something other than a student. The entire ecosystem and 275 plus accounts are manned by about 8 people. So we're quite busy. And as you can imagine, there's quite a bit of culture change shifting from either stand-up face-to-face instruction or PowerPoint instruction or what have you. Next slide, please.
30 seconds left, Larry.
Okay, good thing. I think this is my last slide. So this is what we're working towards, total learning architecture. There's the link in the slide. It's essentially the ability to create, consume, and track content for the purpose of talent management. So we're going to continue our enhancements. We just procured Okta as our ICAM, and we're looking for a browser-based content authoring tool for some of our simulations and other things. Next slide. There we go.
All right, thank you so much, Larry and team. Congrats. Next in our DEIA category, we have IDR Insider Team GSA.
Hi, can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, I'm Marvin Heath, and today I'm sharing the work of a small team of content creators at GSA who are using DEIA principles to improve engagement with GSA's workforce of over 23,000 employees and contractors. We're honored for today's recognition, and in these 5 minutes, I'll be sharing our recipe for digital empathy. Next slide. The problem is that technology, as we all know, is perceived as confusing, frustrating, cold and impersonal, and that is very male-centric. Next slide. So our mission was to change that by making IT clear, helpful, engaging, and inclusive. So how did we accomplish that? Next slide. We took an approach from the human-centered design called digital empathy. Next slide. We delivered digital empathy using IT Insider. IT Insider is GSA's weekly technology newsletter sent to over 23,000 recipients, and our editorial team raises awareness on DEIA topics through the lens of technology. Next slide. Our premise in tech communications is that when people can see themselves, it creates a sense of belonging. So during the pandemic, we recognized that employees were suddenly experiencing isolation from mandatory teleworking. We saw that our weekly newsletter was an opportunity to create a sense of community with employees. So DEIA principles helped us to build relationships with readers to create that sense of belonging. Next slide. We used human-centered articles to show the full diversity of the American people. Black technologists during Black History Month, GSA Women Technology Leaders for Women's History Month, and Latinx technologists during Hispanic Heritage Month. Next slide. We also showcased tools to promote inclusivity and accessibility, adding pronouns to employee email signatures during Pride Month, enabling Spanish on various pieces of software and technologies, also highlighting accessibility features, including captioning for virtual meetings. Next slide. Adding alt text to images, voice typing, soliciting volunteer testers to improve digital accessibility, and also training courses for creating accessible documents. So how do we achieve a sense of belonging with our readers? Next slide. We leveraged human-centered design, including diverse and inclusive graphics to highlight tech DEIA principles, plain language, simple how-to videos, which removed barriers for less technical employees, and last but not least, reader feedback. You sum all of these up and you end up with user-centered content. Next slide. And you can see how it all comes together in the example on the right. Next slide. So here I'll share two of our guiding principles as content creators. No solutions for us, without us. We used an inclusive process to ensure our articles were done with respect and insights from the individuals who identified themselves as part of impacted groups. And the second quote comes from a GSA colleague who is hard of hearing. She challenged us to reframe how we consider accessibility. Instead of considering others as disabled, that we should instead consider that all of us are temporarily able. Whether due to temporary injury or the natural aging process, we'll all need accessibility services at some point in our lives. Accessibility services should be there when we need them. And I'll never forget that. Next slide. In the spirit of no solutions for us without us, we partnered with many GSA stakeholders, the 508 compliance team, LGBTQ, Latinx, the Office of Strategic Communications, and so on. And the result was technology communications, which increased the sense of belonging. But how do we know that? We received thousands of likes and comments from employees, and now I'll share some of that selected reader feedback where the employees speak for themselves. Next slide. Regarding a newsletter celebrating Accessibility Awareness Day, a reader wrote, "Inclusivity is especially appreciated as someone with an invisible disability. I have days where it's nearly impossible to read text. I really needed this today." Another wrote, "So glad to see such a thoughtful comment about accessibility from IT. There's no way this edition doesn't resonate with every person that reads it." Next slide. Next slide again. And next slide. So finally, regarding our series feature of GSA IT's women leaders, the videos that we included with women IT leaders was awesome. And these newsletters are the most engaging newsletter in GSA bar none. I'd just like to highlight here what an employee is calling GSA's tech newsletter, the most engaging in the agency. A tech newsletter, let that sink in. This speaks to the power of inclusion. Next slide. So while the initial focus was our weekly tech newsletter, which we publish 49 times a year, we also created a legacy of other deliverables, tools for adding pronouns to an email signature, an inclusive language guide, a set of videos highlighting GSA's tech women leaders, and a tech talk to the agency. Next slide. And that's a taste of our recipe for digital empathy. We hope we've inspired you to cook up your own inclusive tech communications. And with that, I'll pass it on to the next presenter.
Yeah, thank you so much, Marvin and team. Amazing work. In the IT modernization category, up next, we have IP Oasis Project GSA, and whoever is presenting for that group, please go ahead and come on camera.
Yeah, thank you, Kirsten. This is Jackie Jenkins. Good afternoon, everyone. We really appreciate the invitation to talk about the success of the Oasis project. And I'll talk a little bit more about that, but also would like to recognize Christopher Naya, who's joining us today, our project manager for the overall implementation. To kind of give a little bit of background on this, so the Oasis project set out to replace 5 legacy systems that has a very important mission for GSA and the public building service. It manages the real estate portfolio for over 350 million square foot of space across 8,000 buildings in the federal space. That's that are located in over 2,200 communities across the United States, providing space services for numerous federal agencies, from courthouses, land port of entry, to office space, and a plethora of other use cases and the ever changing technical space requirements. Next slide, please. So one of the things that we set out to do, one of the main objectives, was really around customer experience. Because there are so many federal agencies that participate in this overall workflow and management of space and space requirements, they were not previously involved in collaborating in this technical solution. So we wanted to really bring together in a singular platform all of the users internal to the agency and also external to the agency, to have visibility and transparency in workflow and collaboration, to make sure that all the requests for new space management was very visible, very transparent, and also to speed up the process, to reduce the workflow, to get digital signatures in place. And so that was one of the main use cases, and very excited to report that we were able to achieve that. Many other successes. Some of the challenges when it comes to real estate management, space management, there wasn't a particular product within the federal space. The legacy environment was a custom build, and it was a lot of technical debt. So we partnered with industry to find a commercial product to be able to bring to market, and we were successful in doing that. But of course, you have to then go through the FedRAMP authorization to bring it into the marketplace. As well as get your authority to operate. And again, we were successful in doing that, but finding a solution was a bit of a challenge. But we partnered with IBM after doing extensive market research. We were able to bring that product to market. Another very important challenge for us was a cutover period of a transition. The monthly process by which the business operates in this case could not be interrupted. So the implementation, although we took an MVP approach in a test environment, the actual cutover and the intricacies of the business process could not be interrupted. So we had to have a really no-fail, bulletproof approach to the cutover and migration of this implementation. And it's a bit larger than that. I think there were over 15 IT projects that were sub-projects to this modernization. And I'll talk a little bit more about the approach and what we took in that. And then another challenge was integration. 20 years of data integration requirements, not only across GSA and various offices, but also the federal agencies where we support and provide data. Next slide, please. The approach, we took an agile approach. We did a lot of significant planning, but we integrated all of our project dashboards into a major portfolio view so we could see all the levers and drivers of the upcoming tasks and things that we needed to address to make sure that we kept all of the project teams on sync. We set up conditions for user training, user acceptance, and made sure that we have very succinct cutover, migration, data quality, data validation procedures ready and in place. We did bring in, as part of this, not only the cloud solution, we brought in a new data fabric to integrate legacy data requirements, as well as align to future GSA data strategy requirements. Next slide, please. By the numbers, fairly impressive here for me. As you can see, a high number of federal agencies that we had to bring into this digital experience, customer experience, managing over 19,000 agreements for space and over $10 billion in revenue. So again, a very critical mission, integrations to the financial management systems that could not be interrupted. And it took a significant amount of planning and implementation. And in the end, we were able to sunset 5 legacy enterprise systems, implement over 650 user stories for the new platform, bring that to market, get the data fabric layer in place, get all of the data integrations in place, go through a very extensive data migration, data quality check to make sure that all of our data was very succinct and ready to go day one. And in the end, we had some cost avoidance in the IT portfolio. So a very successful recipe across a tremendous amount of offices within GSA and our federal partners. We appreciate everyone who participated in this. It was a great success. And we're now into our operations and maintenance, and we're delivering every 2 weeks value to our consumers with our continued implementation of Agile. Every 2 weeks now, we're bringing a new release to the production environment. So continuing to iterate upon this platform that we were able to bring from the private sector into the federal space and make it applicable and usable for our federal partners. Kirsten, I think that's it. Back to you.
Yeah, congrats, Philip and team, for all the hard work. All right, so next in the IT modernization category, we're going to hear from OPM Carrier Connect, Billy Annabelle.
Here we go. Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Hopefully you can see my screen.
We can.
Awesome, thanks. So happy to be here and to represent OPM's Carrier Connect team. I'm Billy Annabelle, the Supervisory Program Manager as part of the OCIO for the Postal Program. So the opportunity presented itself when the Postal Reform Act of 2022 was signed into law. The law required OPM to establish a new program called the Postal Service Health Benefits Program, separate from FEHB, or the Federal Employment Health Benefits Program, to provide health insurance to eligible Postal Service enrollees, which included both employees, retirees, or annuitants, as we like to call them at OPM, and their eligible dependents. What was critical to understand was the law required us to establish new benefit programs with carriers. Carriers are just the benefit organizations like Blue Cross Blue Shield, for example. So that was the opportunity, but it created a very short timeline to be successful. 14 months to production from the day the law went into effect, right? We actually had to move very quickly because interested health insurance carriers that wanted to be a part of the postal program had to apply to participate in the PSHB by August 31st of 2023. What's important to note is that the way we have done things is quite manual, paper-based and email-based, and we were looking to modernize OPM's health benefits delivery program, driving value to our customers and partners. With only 14 months between the law's passage and the on-target MVP date of that, which was June 26th, we only had 7 months between when we got the vendor onboarded and when we had to move to production to support the application process. So in other words, we had to go from emails and very structured Word documents as attachments to a 100% digital experience that is completely online and streamlined for our partners in the health carriers. Enter Carrier Connect. Carrier Connect is a one-stop shop where health insurance carriers submit and negotiate applications and annual benefit and rate proposals with OPM. In order to build Carrier Connect as quickly as possible, we've leveraged Microsoft's Power Platform, a low-code solution, which enabled OPM to combine a combination of out-of-the-box functionality, configuration, and some minimal custom code to move quickly from planning to release. Leveraging the scaled Agile framework, Azure DevOps, which is much like Jira and the Power Platform, organizations around OPM, from the program offices to OCIO, were able to quickly plan, collaborate, mitigate surprises and challenges, and deliver the MVP back in June that provided value to our carrier partners from day one. And again, and that happened in practically 7 months' time from the time we got the vendor onboarded to when we actually released this into production. So we're very proud of that, and looking forward, we now have, after the successful launch back in June, we're now developing the second major release of Carrier Connect, which will modernize how carriers submit annual benefit and rate proposals to OPM. Again, that has historically been a very manual process, right? And we're excited to be able to provide them a single place to do business with us and to communicate effectively doing so. As we look forward to continue our digital transformation, the means by which postal employees renew and shop for and select their federal benefits, Carrier Connect's success has become the standard by which OPM will continue to drive value to our customers and partners, and the results are speaking for themselves. And so with that, I'm going to give you back some time and back to our presenters. And again, thank you so much for the nomination, and we're very inspired by all of our colleagues across the various agencies that have been presenting today. So thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Billy. Congrats to you and your team. That's amazing. In the cybersecurity category up next, we have CISA Cyber Cooperative, and we have Mike Nicholson joining us. Mike, whenever you're ready, the floor is yours. Mike, you might be muted right now. I know you're online. I see you. You're just muted.
mute.
There you go.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, thank you for the opportunity to introduce the Cyber Cooperative, the nationwide CISA ATARC Partnership for Cybersecurity. There is a website. There's the URL down there if you want to take advantage of it. Next slide, please. The Cyber Cooperative is a marriage of two powerful ideas. The Joint Cyber Defense Collaborative is a public-private cybersecurity collaborative that leverages new authorities granted by Congress in the 2021 National Defense Authorization Act to unite the global cyber community in the collective defense of cyberspace. JCDC is designed to catalyze a new model of operational collaboration through three complementary goals. Excuse me. First, establishing enduring capabilities for persistent collaboration in which participants continuously exchange, enrich, and act on cybersecurity information with the necessary agility to stay ahead of our adversaries. Second, develop and jointly execute proactive cyber defense plans intended to reduce the most significant risks before they manifest. And third, to enable true co-equal partnership between the government and the private sector, including joint enrichment and development of timely cybersecurity advisories and alerts to the benefit of the broader community. JCDC participants include service providers, infrastructure operators, cybersecurity companies, companies across critical infrastructure sectors, and subject matter experts who collaborate to enable synchronized cybersecurity planning, cyber defense, and response. JCD's core functions include developing and coordinating plans for cyber defense operations and supporting execution of those plans, driving operational collaboration and cybersecurity information fusion between public and private sectors for the benefit of the broader ecosystem, and producing and disseminating cyber defense guidance across all stakeholder communities. Now, it turns out I'm going to be a little redundant here because ATARC's already been introduced. But the Advanced Technology Academic Research Center was established in September 2012. It was the Advanced Mobility Academic Research Center, and it was formed in response to the Digital Government Strategy, which was released earlier that year. AMARC founder Tom Suter played a prominent role in the formation of DGS and created what is now ATARC to continue the dialogue between government, industry, and academia. ATARC then hosted a pair of federal mobile computing summits before being asked by the GSA in 2013 to hold additional events on the topics of cloud computing and IT networks. As AMARC's collaborative focus changed from mobile to federal IT, so did its name. In 2014, Suter renamed AMARC the Advanced Technology Academic Research Center, and within the next year, ATARC expanded its portfolio to include cybersecurity, DevOps, and data analytics events. The Cyber Cooperative is the organizational arm of the Cybersecurity Mission Area. The Cyber Cooperative was formed to enable the ATARC Cyber Mission Area to expand its reach while strengthening connections with federal government leaders across already served by ATARC. The integration of our teammates' insights into ATARC's coverage aims to create more opportunities for government leaders and contractors to address technology challenges collaborative throughout the planning and business development phases, including ATARC's leadership role in supporting government mission. Next slide, please. You'll see At the moment, we have 10 working groups. I'm going to highlight a few of those right now. The Zero Trust Integration Lab is inviting integrators and vendors to team up and demonstrate fully integrated Zero Trust solutions to a government audience, showcasing the art of the possible. Each demonstration team is expected to address all aspects of Zero Trust and a provided scenario set that crosses all pillars of the NIST framework. The government recognizes the complexity of full Zero Trust architecture and that no single vendor will address all aspects of a ZTA. Participants are not expected to address all Zero Trust pillars and capabilities to the fullest level of maturity, but are expected to address a broad cross-section and show how their solution set can evolve to support full maturity. The Quantum working group is preparing a white paper, Quantum Works Today, and hosts a monthly webinar series with thought leaders in the quantum realm. Identity Management Working Group's goal is to identify, and understand, and provide strategic recommendations for challenges and barriers affecting the broader community's identity, credential, and access management deployments and offerings. Then, in close collaboration with government entities such as OMB for policy and NIST for guidance, the ATARC identity team aims to provide strategic recommendations to remove any identified barriers and accelerate adoption of best practices to increase efficiency and reduce cost using cutting-edge identity solutions.
About 30 seconds left, Mike.
Okay, let's go to our team. Next slide. CM-CERT, led by retired Brigadier General Greg Toohill, who was the first federal CISO, chairs our Common Operating Picture Working Group. You can see some of the other members of the team and what they provide. So as we're running low on time, we'll just let you read them for yourself.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mike. Great work for you and the team. I know how much you put into all of this, so we really appreciate it. Really appreciate you. Up next in the AI and data category, we've got the Office of the Inspector General, U.S. Health and Human Services, and Miranda Fanning will be presenting. So Miranda, over to you.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Miranda Fanning, and I'm a senior analyst in HHS, the Health and Human Services Office of the Inspector General. And today I'm going to share about how we use machine learning and AI techniques to surface grantee risk in the Contracts and Grants Analytics portal. Next slide, please. To provide some background, the Department of Health and Human Services is the largest grant-making organization in the federal government, awarding billions in grant funds each year. In FY 2022, HHS awarded nearly $750 billion in grants. HHS uses grants to provide a wide range of services to the American public, everything from vaccine development and Head Start funding to healthcare and mental health services. The Office of the Inspector General is tasked with a critical mission to provide oversight to promote the efficiency, economy, effectiveness, and integrity of HHS programs, as well as protecting the health and welfare of the people that HHS serves. This is a critical mission, especially because of all the lives that HHS programs touch. Every dollar that's misused, wasted, or stolen from a grant program is a dollar that's not being used to provide a service to a person who critically needs that service. Next slide, please. Our office, the Office of the Chief Data Officer, makes self-service tools so that our staff can quickly get information that they need. The Contracts and Grants Analytics portal is one of these tools. The portal is a state-of-the-art analytic tool that streamlines information gathering and delivers a single access point to grants and contracts-related data, principal investigators, and single audit findings. The portal went live in December of 2018, so almost 5 years ago, or right at 5 years ago, and has more than 700 users to date. Next slide, please. One of the really valuable sources of information on grantee risk and deficiencies is called a single audit. Single audits are required for any non-federal entity that expends more than $750,000 in federal funds in a year. So this is most of our grant recipients. Independent auditing firms submit a single audit package with a form and a PDF report that details audit findings. These are highlighting all of the risks within the grantee organization. Audits can be hundreds of pages long, and the PDF reports contain information that's only available in those reports. And these pieces of information are really important to our staff. So specifically financial findings, which may highlight important risks like grantees that don't have enough oversight or credit card purchases or conflicts of interest. Since we have relatively limited resources, our staff don't have the time to read hundreds of pages of PDFs for 30 to 40,000 grant recipients. So we need to be able to surface trends and key pieces of information for them in a way that's easy to access and understand. Next slide, please. To accomplish this, we have a problem with this slide. Okay, I'll just continue to talk. To accomplish this, we've developed a machine learning process that turns single audit findings into valuable insights that can be accessed easily by HHS-OIG staff. You'll have to imagine this, but at a high level, the process begins with a deep neural network model that identifies the very specific findings text and pulls that out from the rest of the 100 pages of PDF documents. We then apply text classification and topic modeling to those findings to make it easier for users to quickly identify the types of grantee risks that have been flagged in the single audit. And since we know information is best understood in context, we fuse that data together with the 13 other data sets that we integrate into our data system. And we apply statistical models related to multiple dimensions of risk. Finally, we use an agile process to build visualizations that put the results of AI efforts at the fingertips of staff. Next slide, please. So the Contracts and Grants Analytics portal has a history of bringing value to OIG staff. The portal saves our staff time. We calculate that it saves about 4,000 hours per year in time spent reading and analyzing single audit PDFs. And it also reduces time spent accessing many different websites to gather and regather information. CGAP also brings together important information and brings that into focus by elevating key risks and trends, highlighting risks across data sources that you wouldn't otherwise be able to see in a single data source, and alerting users when risk information has changed. This has led to a history of successful contributions to ongoing work by guiding the planning of audits and evaluations, contributing to risk identification within grant programs, especially during emergencies, and contributing to the information gathering when our agents are investigating fraud. This ensures that HHS-OIG is focused on the most important and impactful issues to HHS. So this concludes my presentation, and thank you for the opportunity to present today.
Thank you so much, Miranda and team. Congrats on everything. In the IT modernization category, up next, we have Naval Systems Engineering Resource Center team, and Bob Simmons will be presenting.
Just a quick screen and comms check.
Looks good.
Okay, thank you. Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Simmons from NSWC Dahlgren, Program Manager of the Naval Systems Engineering Resource Center. First, I'd like to express my sincere gratitude and honor of being nominated for the IT Modernization Award, and it's truly humbling to be recognized by this organization. Quick overview of NSERC. NSERC offers robust and timely threat engineering, mission analysis products to support sponsors with sound investment recommendations and support effective testing and evaluation strategies for our warfighters' capabilities. We do this by providing services across infrastructures as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. Across those platforms, today we are offering hardware, whether it's on-prem. We're considered a hybrid environment using Azure's HCI, Azure Stack, and Azure Edge devices, as well as commercial cloud at a hyperscale environment using IL4, 5, and 6, as well as Amazon at impact level 4 and 5. It's been important over the last 7 years for us to put in high resilience in this, to have continuity of operation for our environment, to make sure our customers would have high availability and a stable and scalable system, at the same time reducing cost and the complexity in the environment. Over the last 7 years, we've put a lot in the architecture. This is a high-level OV1 drawing of the internal communications from our boundary at NWC Dahlgren out from our local lab through DREN and then out to commercial cloud. We are looking to expand this for additional resilience by adding an additional express route to Chicago and also working now with Microsoft in a partnership to do some early testing and adoption for Azure Orbital, connecting via Starlink to an Azure ground station connected at the government data center. The timeline over the last 6-7 years has been, we've been actively working commercial cloud at all impact levels. Recently, just last week, we got reauthorization for our high side package, which is SIPR and SDRIN. And we are also reauthorizing our unclassified package and as well as working on a top secret package in this fiscal year coming to deliver better products and services to our fleet. We're also working a cross-domain solution to make sure there's no gaps between those environments. So we're working closely to make sure we can go from impact level 4 and 5 to 6 and 7. So this is an early adoption and we'll be doing some testing pretty soon on this. Applications we host across the following environments. I'm not going to go through these, but these will be available. So these are the applications that we host as software as a service, delivering these as 100% requirements based. Some quick numbers of metrics of how many customers we're supporting, service level agreements we have, and just some of the numbers that we have in commercial cloud. So we do support around over 20,000 users across over 160 service level agreements across the DoD. Our customers are listed here across the same categories we have our tools in. And actually one of our partners is actually nominated for a DevOps, which will be coming up shortly. So we have a close partnership with POIWS with the Forge in helping them with almost their DevOps pipeline work, their PI planning, the integration of Black Pearl into commercial cloud, working the SIPR side, as well as when we get the cross-domain solution in place, they will be leveraging that. I want to thank you for this opportunity and considering NSERC for our support, as well as providing this capability and this technology across these communities. So thank you.
Thank you. Congrats, Bob and team, on everything. In the IT modernization category, up next, we've got DHS's Office of Inspector General Office of Innovation Project Tracking Dashboard, and Sarah Nelson will be our presenter.
You can't see my screen, can you?
We can, yep.
Oh, okay, perfect. All right, wonderful. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today and to present our timeliness tracker. This is the result of hard work of a small group of data scientists that were focused on modernizing the way that we perform work within the Office of Inspector General. So audits, inspections, and evaluations typically run over just a year to fully complete. But about 3 years ago, the OIG recognized that many projects were lingering, sometimes extending over a 2 or 3 year time frame. So to get that work back on track, my team created this timeliness tracker dashboard in a way of assisting our auditors and our inspectors in meeting their deadlines associated with the phases in the overarching project, and also allowing for oversight by management and leadership. So this is the entry point of the timeliness dashboard that we created. And within here, we have multiple different frames that you can see. So our project timeliness overview that I'm showing right now allows our senior leaders to see everything that they need to know about the timeliness of all ongoing and closed work. It can be filtered by any of the tabs up at the top: office, year, director, anything that you see up there. It can also be filtered by status, whether that's on time, good status, late, and it's updated every single night, so it's real-time information. The current view is showing the averages of all of these projects together. However, if you were to click on any of these individual projects, you would actually see the actual timeframes associated with those. For clarification, just to show, we do show things that are late, high risk of being late, and at risk of being late. And we put those in there for our teams to recognize that if you're late, that means you have no way of making up time. Your project end date has already passed. If you're at high risk of being late, it means you're already 50 days past the time frame that was associated with that phase. And if you're at risk, that means that you're between 1 and 49 days. We've also created a view. This view right here is just showing you how we've actually filtered, and we're focused on a director, we're focused on things that are late. And so someone would be able to come in and really focus on the projects that they've done. Here we've created another phase. It's called the phase timeliness overview. This is really focusing on information for the managers so that they're looking at the ongoing projects that they have purview over at that exact moment so that they can communicate with their team areas of concern. You're able to filter exactly the way that you are on the prior screen, but this is more focused on the managers and the projects they have. Lastly, we created a project metrics details. This right here helps our leadership determine if the projects will actually finish within the date range compared to what the teams often say they think the dates are going to be. Many times people don't realize when they're focusing on that end date, they actually do not have enough time to go through all of the phases and get completed on time. In creating this, we were focused on audits, inspections, and evaluations, but this dashboard can actually be demonstrated and used by any program office as long as they have phases associated with the work they're doing. Thank you so much for allowing us to come today and present what we completed.
Thank you, Sarah. Congrats to you and your team. Amazing work. Up next in the DevOps category, we've got Forge US Navy and presenter Christopher Toney.
Hello, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Let me share my screen. Sorry, 1 second. Okay. All right, here we go. So my name is Christopher Toney. I am the product owner for cybersecurity and IT ops at the Ford Software Factory. I know I have a very limited amount of time today. I'm going to give you a brief overview of the program that I support, the Ford Software Factory, my team, and then a project that we've been working on for the past year or so to accredit one of our spaces. So PIOWSX is a new program office in the Navy. Their mission is to develop ICS. ICS is a future combat system that is going to allow us to essentially deliver software more rapidly to a number of surface ships. Whereas right now we have a number of different combat systems for the ships. So this one combat system is going to help us deliver capability much more quickly than we're able to right now. And the Forge is the software factory that builds the software that actually goes out to the ships. We work closely with another counterpart in the program office called the hardware factory. So they develop the infrastructure and the hypervisor layer, and then we essentially develop a platform, and then the mission apps that get deployed on to that onto the infrastructure, so that we can deliver the software to ships. So my team is what we call one of the enabler teams at the Forge. The Forge is made up of about 20 teams, a little more. We're still growing. And we have essentially the teams that are developing applications, and then we have the teams that are essentially enabling them to do that work. My team does a lot of the behind the scenes work. So we essentially make sure that people have development assets so that they can like do their development both unclassified and classified. We also provide a unclassified and classified network. And then my job as a product owner is to make sure that essentially we're working on the right thing in accordance with what the stakeholders are asking for. So I work very closely with the program office, leadership in the program office. I work with engineers in the labs. At Dahlgren, I work with the dev teams to make sure that they have what they need. And then when I actually have time to do some technical work, I do jump in and help my team with some of the technical things in our labs when I have time. So this year, roughly like just before spring, like right in February, March, that time frame, we had a meeting with our captain, and he expressed, both him and SWD expressed that they wanted us to have an air-gapped development environment up roughly in about like 7 months. So they wanted it by the end of the FY. If anyone's ever gone through accreditation, they are very familiar with how much time it can take and how challenging it can be. So we had just received our authorization for storage and handling, but we still had like power upgrades, cooling upgrades that we needed to do. We needed to stand up like a whole network from scratch. And we also had to make a number of procurements. So what did we do? So first thing is open, honest communication. So I was working basically to provide updates and like an automated manner as best as I could, using our Jira and Confluence and the integrations between them to kind of provide like a live status on what's being worked on. But we also had to tell them like, hey, we can do our best to get to the date that you want us to get to, but that's going to come at the expense of some things. So we had to prioritize some things. And one of the things that we talked about in our CAD planning events is essentially what's going to be above the line and below the line. So above the line are things that we're going to essentially do now, prioritize, and things that are below the line are things that we're going to do later, or we might not do at all. Another thing that we did was we leveraged as much essentially like working code, like working projects that we already had within the Forge to kind of get us up and rolling even faster. So in my previous job, I was working on the platform team that was building the Kubernetes clusters that our apps deploy to. And in order to do that, you have to stand up a number of like identity services, and things like that. So we took essentially that whole working deployment and pulled it into our environment and essentially used that to deploy much of the backbone of like identity and auditing that we actually use in our environment now. So that was a good symbiotic relationship that we have with the platform team. We still work very closely with them to this day. And the result is we were actually able to build the entire stack, the entire development environment, roughly in about five months or so. We are actually a little bit ahead of our schedule. When we had everything together, the team worked really, really hard to get the ANA package together and submitted. And we received our first ATO this November. That team, some of them are online here. They worked really hard. I'm really proud of them and the work that we were able to accomplish to get our ANA package together and our environment set up. So
30 seconds left, Chris.
Okay, yep, that's it.
All right, perfect. Well, thank you so much, and congrats to you and your team for all of the amazing work you guys do. Up next in the DevOps category, we have a High Efficiency Rapid Modernization Network, HERMN team with Tommy Hargroves.
Hi, good afternoon. Just going to share my screen. I think you guys can see my screen.
Yes.
Awesome. Hi, so my name is Tommy Hargroves. I work for the U.S. Coast Guard C5ISC Service Center. A lot like what Christopher was just mentioning, we are the Coast Guard's software factory. So we're kind of the first Coast Guard DevSecOps initiative. So switching slides real quick. So we're kind of the first initiative to embracing DevSecOps in the Coast Guard in order to facilitate some modernization of our customers, which are Coast Guard applications, as our customer, since we're we're the Coast Guard Service Center. We are residing in AWS GovCloud within our Coast Guard ATO'd landing zone, aisle 4, aisle 5. Essentially, what we do is we provide a platform to our customers, which I always say the quarterback of our platform is GitLab CI/CD pipelines, and then we're also deploying these applications onto Kubernetes. So the scope of our project is developers. We prioritize what developers need to add value to these applications. So we're practicing Agile, and we have that's how we're kind of doing the backlog and things like that. Just want to express some extreme gratitude for this nomination, and really appreciate it. I want to be respectful of everybody's time, and so I'll pass it back to the presenter. I know I was quick, but I know we're all really busy around the holiday time, so thank you so much.
Yes, thank you so much, and congrats on all the amazing work from you and your team. And up next, we have Craig Richings and team from the Marine Forces System Command Archimedes project. And I don't see Craig online, so if there's another representative from that project team, I'll give you a minute to boot up. But again, that's the Marine Forces System Command Archimedes project.
Hey, good afternoon. This is Chris Kerrigan. I wasn't prepared to present, but I do want to put a plug in for Craig. I was part of the project that he had led. Craig is our financial manager within PMCO, Marine Force System Command. He is responsible for ensuring that all of the projects which within the Marine Force Cyber Operations Cell are well funded. So unfortunately, we were an entity that was stood up maybe about 2.5 years ago through a variety of different things, whether it was unfunded requirements or some other requirement needs that cyber operations needed. Our entity was stood up with a handful of folks, some of them part of the Coalition of the Willing, some of them taking jobs to be within PMCO. So Craig was the lead that basically did the search for all of the funding. He did sweeps funding and provided basically the process and pathway to ensure that certain projects were, again, well funded, specifically PCTE, which is the training environment, along with the Big Data Platform and the LTAC, which are two of the programs that I oversee, as well as offensive countermeasures and the defensive cyber weapons system. Again, he was the veritable glue from a financial standpoint that really held us together. And I wanted to ensure that that Craig's voice was heard as being part of a proud member of his team. Over.
Yeah, thank you, Chris. Thank you for sharing that with us. And next up then, we've got the IT modernization category for Marine Forces System. I'm sorry, we just heard from them. We've got the cybersecurity category for the SASE project at GSA. And I see we've got Pemarala on, so please go ahead.
Hi, thank you so much for the opportunity to be nominated in the Excellence in Cybersecurity category. I'm going to try and disrupt the norm and go with no slides using a conversational narrative. My name is Parimala Rao, and I'm the Deputy Chief Information Security Officer at GSA, and I'm honored to speak on behalf of my technology and security teams about our SASE implementation. So at GSA IT, under visionary leadership, GSA has implemented a pioneering secure access service edge solution, seamlessly integrating with GSA's zero trust architecture. Now, GSA's SASE provides secure and granular access to applications and resources in the cloud or on-prem. It has replaced conventional VPNs, significantly improving user experience, our overall cybersecurity posture, and has helped us drive technology modernization and cyber innovation. So what does SASE really mean? SASE is relatively a new concept in the world of cybersecurity that combines cloud delivery, networking, and security services into a massively distributed cloud services. SASE stands for Secure Access Service Edge, consuming networking and security as a service and ensuring optimal and best user experience for any user accessing any application or any data sitting anywhere on any of our networks. Now, GSA's SASE and Zero Trust solutioning is primarily designed to address the challenges of traditional network security models, which typically relied on perimeter-based defenses and VPNs, which are not always effective in today's cloud-based and mobile-enabled environments. GSA's SASE solution, it combines cloud-based networking and security services such as Zero Trust security, firewalling, malware protection, and encryption into a single solution that can be delivered to users and devices anywhere, regardless of the location or network connection. The idea behind SASE is to provide the ability to adapt and scale to meet the needs of today's dynamic and distributed growing enterprise environments, while still providing the visibility and control that GSA needs to secure its network, users, devices, buildings, and data. So why SASE? SASE is tailor-made for our hybrid work from anywhere environment. GSA has been able to provide remote and mobile workers with secure access to internal applications without the need for a traditional VPN, using Zero Trust security principles, authenticating and authorizing every user and every device, and only granting access to specific applications and resources based on the user's identity and access permissions. We are providing secure remote access to internal resources while maintaining a high level of security and visibility. So what are some of the highlights of our SASE implementation? SASE has 5 key constructs like next generation SD-WAN, Zero Trust Network Access, Secure Web Gateway, Firewall as a Service, and Cloud Access Service Broker, etc. All of these components, they come seamlessly delivered at GSA as a unified as a service offering that is massively scalable. GSA has also established a protective DNS system fostering interagency cooperation and compliance with mandates like the M2131 and the M2209. And the strategic retirement of our MTIPS managed trusted internet protocol services, saving multi-million dollars annually, underscoring our commitment to modernizing security practices. And this effort aligns with our broader multi-year ZTA transformation, reflecting GSA OCISO's adaptive security approach. The persistent pursuit of SASE paradigm has led us to deploy cloud-based security services and also provide secure granular access to internal applications and resources across thousands of users and several thousands of devices. Together, we have a comprehensive cloud strategy service that protects the government from a wide range of online threats, while still providing flexible and secure access to our internal and external resources. This achievement enhances cybersecurity and user experience by enabling a one-click access to GSA applications. GSA IT's dedication to embracing innovative solutions while ensuring seamless integration reinforces a secure and accessible digital landscape. This deployment, spanning several diverse systems, highlights GSA's commitment to universal accessibility, heightened cybersecurity, while keeping tech modernization and cyber innovation at the center of it all. Thank you, everyone. Really appreciate the honor.
Thank you, Perry. We really appreciate you being here and sharing that with us. Next up in the digital experience category, we have Unemployment Insurance ID Verification Program at the Department of Labor, and Leslie Sheffield will be presenting.
Good afternoon, all. As mentioned, I'm Leslie Sheffield. I'm a senior IT program manager here with the U.S. Department of Labor. I'm happy to be here today to share with you the achievements of the ARPA team in our critical work for the USDOL's insurance verification program. Next slide, please. During the COVID pandemic, Congress expanded our traditional UI programs to include pandemic unemployment benefits. One of the collateral effects of this expansion showed the technical limitations of state UI systems, enabling them to process the extremely high volume of claims that they were starting to receive. It also simultaneously expanded the public knowledge of this program, and an unfortunate consequence of that, expose the vulnerabilities of this program, this vital benefits program, to fraud and exploitation. So we found that as working with our state partners, the challenge that we needed to solve was figuring out how to assist states balance the need with providing timely and equitable service to their state claimants with doing fraud prevention in a timely manner. States were struggling with this because of the pandemic workload. One thing that we learned as an agency is that most of our state workforce agencies suffer from extreme resource constraints, especially in the IT department. And this really slows their ability to adapt to new fraud threats. So our fraud prevention solution had to also ensure that there was no new equity or timeliness barriers introduced into the fraud system. Other thing that we learned is many states during the pandemic rapidly deployed commercial ID verification services, and those services were costly for states to implement and to maintain. Next slide, please. So the UI digital solution that DOL is working with states on now was designed to minimize the state's integration lift. DOL opted to host a digital platform and to support both digital ID verification services and in-person ID verification services, and to make this platform available to all of our 53 state workforce agencies. DOL is covering all the transactional costs to minimize this burden on our state partners. We've collaborated with General Service Administration and USPS in offering this program out to all of our 53 state workforce agencies. By design, we've created user-friendly interfaces. We've done extensive human-centered design testing to make sure that claimants understand the service and are able to successfully navigate it. We've collaborated with both of our states and our federal partners. Our state-centric design minimized the infrastructure costs for states. It's helping us to build positive working relationships with these state partners and allows us to deploy this system quickly when states have an emergency. With the Hawaii wildfires, we were able to bring them live on the ID verification service within 6 days. Next slide, please. As mentioned, we chose strategically to partner with other federal agencies that are offering ID verification services. GSA's login.gov is our digital ID verification service, and the USPS in-person proofing was seen as a vital component to ensure that those that have limited access to technology or transportation still have access to successfully complete their ID proofing. With the USPS option, we see that 95% of the population live within 5 miles of a postal office. Next slide, please. So the way the program works is DOL hosts the central platform. States connect directly with USDOL. Claimants start their digital process through the state partner to complete their UI claims. They're then directed to Department of Labor. The Department of Labor site hosts the ID verification options for each claimant, whether that be in person or digital. The federal partners return all of that data sets to US Department of Labor, and then we have created encrypted S3 buckets to store and return that data to each state partner in order that they can adjudicate claims as needed. Next slide, please. Currently, we have 6 state partners that are live with this service, and we have an additional 13 that we're in various stages of implementation for. We've been able to successfully serve close to 80,000 claimants already, 60,000 plus through the digital process, and over 16,000 with the in-service or in-person process. And that's it. Thank you. We really appreciate this nomination and the recognition for all of the hard work our team has done to help support the UI claimants and ensure that individuals can successfully obtain the benefits to which they're entitled.
All right. Thank you so much for that. And congrats to you and your team as well. It's amazing work. And next up in the cybersecurity category, we have the Department of Commerce Zero Trust Architecture Working Group Leadership Team, and Ron Ringgold will be presenting. So Ron, over to you.
All right, thank you very much. I'm going to follow GSA's method and I'll follow GSA's method and do a little bit more conversational rather than death by PowerPoint. So as all of you are aware, when Executive Order 14028, improving the nation's cybersecurity, was issued, and then subsequent to that, OMB Memorandum 2209, there were a lot of new requirements that were forced upon departments and agencies to modernize and move towards a zero trust architecture. So with that, the Department of Commerce took a whole of commerce approach to our zero trust architecture when submitting our plans to OMB, and further with releasing our Department of Commerce zero trust architecture strategy. And within that, we've defined core capabilities to ensure that all of our 13 discrete bureaus are operating at the same maturity level. So we are striving to achieve the optimum maturity level as defined by the CISA Zero Trust maturity model. So with that, we defined 5 enterprise capabilities that we're offering to all of our bureaus. The first being an identity, credential, and access management capability, which we selected Okta as that department or that enterprise capability, and we've already begun rolling it out to all of our bureaus and have it implemented at the enterprise for all of the departmental enterprise applications. We've also selected a enterprise endpoint detection and response capability working with CISA through the CDM program. And we've implemented that at the enterprise as well, covering 10 of our 13 bureaus to date, while still working to onboard the remaining 3 bureaus. We've also sponsored our EDR provider, and they are currently waiting on the FedRAMP marketplace to receive their FedRAMP High designation, which they'll be one of the only FedRAMP High EDR providers. And we're also deploying a data security capability, which will be able to look through all of our structured and unstructured data to see where our mission data and our PII reside with our networks and ensure the proper protections are in place protecting that data. Similar to GSA, we are also deploying a zero trust network architecture solution, which includes a secure access service edge. We've selected Cloudflare as the department's capability, and we are moving forward with not only implementing SASE, but also implementing the application security capabilities as well, such as Edge DNS, content delivery network capabilities, web application firewall, just to name a few. We've also are covering our SOC modernization effort as part of our zero trust architecture. And that includes meeting the requirements outlined in M2131. So we are deploying a cybersecurity data lake, which we already have up and operational, which gives us the opportunity to ingest all of our notable security events from all of our bureaus and act as a managed service provider for our smaller bureaus who don't have the capability to act as a 24/7 SOC for themselves. So you might be asking yourselves, how did we do this? How did we get all of commerce on board? Well, in order to do this, we stood up our Zero Trust Architecture Working Group, which is comprised of CIO designated participants from all of our bureaus. Within that working group, we do technical evaluations on all of our capabilities that we want to roll out across the department. And we take all of those evaluations into account when doing an enterprise selection. After we're doing the enterprise selection, we work with CISA, leveraging the Continuous Diagnostics and Mitigation Blanket Purchase Agreement to do all of our procurement, which streamlines the acquisition process and helps us get the right tools we need, leveraging the approved product list from CISA. So with that, we've been able to make steady strides across the department by implementing these zero trust architecture capabilities and integrating them in order to ensure that we are doing just-in-time access for all of our internal applications as well as all of our cloud applications, and ensuring that our users and our networks are protected. And thank you very much for your time today.
Thank you so much, Ronald, and congrats to you and your team on everything. That's really amazing.
Thank you.
And yeah, and wow, what a packed day we've had, filled with such outstanding contributions to our government's IT systems. And we are going to be ending our programming by announcing the winners in each category. So the Advancing Artificial Intelligence and Data Analytics Award, the winner is Human Guided Machine Learning from the Army Research Laboratory. Our presenter was Nick Waitowich. So congrats to them. That is amazing. Next up in the Excellence in Cybersecurity Award, our winner is the SASE project from GSA. We had Perry Rao sharing with us today. Amazing work there. In the Advancing DevOps in the Federal Space Award, our winner is the Marine Forces Cyber Command and Marine Forces System Command, with our presenter being Chris Kerrigan. So congrats to that team. The winner for the Promoting DEI, Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, and Accessibility in the Government Award goes to our government-wide IT accessibility program from GSA. We heard from Andrew Nielsen today. Next is the Digital Experience Award, and our winner for that is the Unemployment Insurance ID Verification Program from DLL. Congrats to Leslie Sheffield and team. And we also have the Workforce Innovation Award. The winner for that is the Human Intelligence System Skills Development from Army Research. We heard earlier today from Jeremy Gaston. So congratulations. For the last category, however, I'd like to introduce Nathaniel Parks, the Senior Solutions Engineer from Dynatrace. And Nathaniel is going to go ahead and share us the winner for that. So Nathaniel, over to you.
Awesome. Thank you, Kirsten. Alrighty, well, I'm honored to have the opportunity to announce the winner for the 2023 GITEC Award in IT Modernization on behalf of Dynatrace and ATARC. Dynatrace is an AI-driven application observability platform dedicated to assisting teams across IT organizations, similar to many of the teams we've heard from today, simplify their environmental complexity and modernize faster. So while platforms like Dynatrace play a critical role in pushing an IT organization forward through their modernization journey, the individual personnel and teams that are in the trenches day to day, putting in that work needed to produce that innovation, often go overlooked. And that's why today it's my absolute pleasure to actually recognize one such team that has put in that work over the last year to identify a critical business need within their organization, leverage automation to build a solution that met that need, and has the KPIs to back up that success for their hard work. So at long last, the winner of this year's GITEC IT Modernization Award is the Business Integration Office at the U.S. Department of Interior, presented by Randy Albert. So congratulations to you guys over there. Excellent work this year.
Thank you so much, Nathaniel, for presenting that, and congrats to the winner and all of our winners today. So fantastic job. This has been such an amazing day. ATARC has received over 60 nominations for this year's awards, varying in team and agency sides. And we're so honored to be able to host the GITEC Awards and really looking forward to everyone's work, dedication, and innovation in 2024. So we don't want you to miss out, of course, on ATARC's GITEC conference, the reason we're all here today. We meet annually for our largest conference of the year to discuss all of these topics that we've heard from today. And in 2024, there's going to be a new location. Normally it's been Annapolis. This time it's going to be in Charlottesville, Virginia at the Kimpton Forum. So that should be really cool and a really beautiful spot, I'm sure. Congratulations once again to all of the nominees and winners, and thank you to our audience for supporting these teams as they truly make IT history. And again, I want to thank John Sprague and our GITEC panel of judges, as well as our partner for today's ceremonies, Dynatrace. We really couldn't do it without y'all. So thanks so much. Hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. Happy holidays, and we'll see you at the next one.